And the video is called Exposing Trackmania's Biggest Con Man, with the thumbnail of this, a colorful car and saying fraud. For those of you that are unaware, this is Riolu's car skin from Trackmania United Forever. So it is apparently a video about Riolu. And that's pretty interesting because the entire Riolu cheating scandal, I guess you all know about it, already was 4 years ago. Like, it was around April, May 2021, so almost 4 years ago. This video came out, which I guess all of you have watched. Everybody knows about it. This video came out where everything was explained. Super, super good video. Then, a little bit over a year ago, we had a video on 92Bob. I'm not sure if all of you have seen this video, but it's basically about a secret player called 92Bob dominating the Trackmania United leaderboard, and nobody knew who it was. And the video was basically about getting behind who that player is, kinda. And yeah, now, over 1 year later, we have another video, which is this one. And we're gonna watch it right now, because, yeah, I'm also a little bit deeper in the topic, because I also knew Riolu for a bit longer already. I was, like, close with him. Not, like, close, but he was also part of the OK Boys, for example. So, yeah. First of all, guys, make sure to watch the video yourself as well. Give it a like, give it a comment, support the video. I'm just giving my senf to this video, as we say in Germany. So, we're going in.
One of the biggest voices in the Trackmania community, I often get asked to use my platform for the sake of good. On the Trackmania Reddit page, the user Slobodan Medara brought up that Virtual could use his reach for something useful for once, and expose such toxic behavior. Toxicity in Trackmania is something to be talked about, and you could probably write a book about it by now. This user is unfortunately completely correct. There's been a lot of bad things happening that nobody is talking about, and it shouldn't be that way. Recently, I was approached with information that, if true, would challenge what everyone in Trackmania believes to be real.
By Arcus. Hey, Virtual, I might have some information that very highly might lead to uncovering
a story so preposterous
that Riolu... I see Riolu.
Under the rug
that Riolu something.
Okay. But when I come across heavy information, I believe that players have a right to know what's been going on. And that I have
This is not a joke. I'd love if you could help me approach this topic. Okay.
Responsibility.
He was approached by Arcus. Arcus also like
as a creator is and has always been to share my passion and enjoyment for Trackmania with you. And I will of course continue to do so. But please know before we dive deeper into this topic that this video is going to be very different from my other content.
That's crazy.
If you watch my channel for fun stories, this video is not going to be one.
Okay, video is not fun, guys.
The message I received was about the player Eddie Rising. A new talent in Trackmania Lagoon.
Oh, I know Eddie. Yeah, Eddie is like, he played Trackmania 2 Lagoon and Turbo, and he was like doing insanely good on like precision maps. I know him
last
from
2 years,
videos.
Climbed to rank 1 in the game. By many, he is seen as a player to be celebrated. But after researching this topic, I am no longer so sure. The message contained concerns that Eddie is
my honest belief is not
who he's claiming to be. The more I dug for evidence to support this claim, the more I was astounded by what I discovered. Not only was there proof that this is true, but it also seemed possible that Eddie could have pretended to be other people in the community, including this Slobodan Medara account on Reddit. The finds in this investigation have all pointed towards one player being behind the Eddie account, and that is Riolu, the biggest cheater in Trackmania history, and someone who hasn't had any communication with the community since 2021. This story is equal parts fascinating and unsettling, and uncovers some of the wildest behaviors I've ever seen on the internet. Fasten your seatbelts, everybody, because there is a lot to talk about.
Fasten my seatbelts.
This is the story.
Okay, so I know Eddie, but I don't know about the Reddit stuff, and I don't know. Wait, does this have copyright, by the way? I hope not. The story of Trackmania's biggest con man. Con man meaning something like cheater, I guess.
Before we go on, I'd like to thank Arcus, Darkling, Zufok, Tomashu.
Okay, so a lot of no names here. Big Bang, also big community person.
And David. Players that, if it weren't for their help, this investigation would not have been possible. I would also like to say that this video is made with the main objective of informing the Trackmania community and documenting the events that have happened. Please do not attempt to contact or harass the players mentioned in this video. By publishing this information, we hope to achieve a better competitive environment in Trackmania, and any and all harassment would only counteract this effort. Thank you and enjoyment. For those that don't know the backstory of Riolu, I will quickly go through it since it is important context for this video. In 2021, it was discovered that replay files in the game store the exact
this is from the original video basically, when the entire cheating scandal started.
Donadigo made a tool to visualize these steering inputs, so players could better see how the best drivers had steered the car in their records. In most cases, this tool worked perfectly fine, but when it was used to display the inputs in records driven by Riolu, it would show inhumanly quick and jittery steering inputs. This eventually led to a huge
Guys, I cannot pause the video, otherwise we're gonna not make it until
in all Trackmania games, and a detailed report later proved, along with admissions from some of these players, that records with these inhuman inputs had been achieved by driving in slow motion.
I mean, this was like the darkest time of Trackmania, sort of, with this cheating scandal and how massive it was, especially with Riolu as like one of the biggest streamer back then, being a cheater. But it was also the moment where Trackmania popped off the most, where Trackmania got like insane attention, where Trackmania 2020 popped
slow down the game.
It was like the worst.
This cheating method was incredibly effective, as it allowed the cheaters to have superhuman precision and reaction time in a game all about shaving off hundreds of
players who were dominating the leaderboard
for the longest time. It was completely undetectable.
Guys, what is this message in the chat? Hello Granadi, it is me Riolu. For years I've been creating an illusion of people in the Trackmania community, but it was just me. Now I will write this message from all of my accounts.
Exposed in the report,
oh my God,
Riolu was by far the most severe. He used Cheat Engine to set records in Trackmania United forever, Trackmania Nations forever.
Like, this was back in the days where Riolu and Virtual were like
Stadium,
both
Lagoon,
like the biggest streamers
Trackmania
kind of. Both had like 2K viewers.
And recently it was discovered that he possibly cheated like in slow motion in Trackmania.
Can I make the subtitles smaller? I don't think that's possible. So either we have subtitles on or not. Either we have subtitles on or not. Off. Okay. On. Off. On. Off. You can make them smaller. How? Click this for settings. Oh, right here. Oh my God. Wait. Oh, there. All right. 75. All right, here we go.
My goal as a creator is, and has always been, to share my passion and enjoyment for Trackmania with you. And I will of course continue to do so.
Okay.
But please know before we dive deeper into this topic that this video is going to be very different from my other content. If you watch my channel for fun stories, this video is not going to be one. You see, the message I received was about the player Eddie Rising, a new talent in Trackmania Lagoon, who over the last 2 years climbed to rank 1 in the game.
Eddie?
By many, he is seen as a player to be celebrated. But after researching this topic, I am no longer so sure. The message contained concerns that Eddie isn't who he's claiming to be. The more I dug for evidence to support this claim, the more I was astounded by what I discovered. Not only was there—
I'm not gonna lie, I've never heard of this person before. Type one of you have heard of Eddie Rising before. I have not heard of Eddie Rising before this, ever.
Proof that this is true, but it also seemed possible that Eddie could have pretended to be other people in the community, including this Slobodan account on Reddit. The finds in this investigation have all pointed towards the player behind the Eddie account. And that is Riolu.
This is like an absolute Netflix go-to. I'm getting excited.
Leader in Trackmania history, and someone who hasn't had any communication with the community since 2020.
What is this music?
This story is equal parts fascinating and unsettling, and uncovers some of the wildest behaviors I've ever seen on the internet. Fasten your seatbelts, everybody, because there is a lot to talk about.
I'm locked in.
This is the story of Trackmania's biggest con-man.
Yo! Who edited this? This is crazy good. Zero and bug. Holy moly, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Before we go on, I'd like to thank Arcus, Darklink, Rufak, Tomashu, Big Bang 1112, Tim, and Socram David. Players that, if it weren't for their help, this investigation would not have been possible. I would also like to say that this video is made with the main objective of informing the Trackmania community and documenting the events that have happened. Please do not attempt to contact or harass the players mentioned in this video by publishing—
Players! Players! Multiple! Not Eddie! Players!
This information achieved.
Well, I'm involved.
Competitive environment in Trackmania.
I'm involved.
And any and all harassment would only counteract this effort. Thank you and enjoy. For those that don't know the backstory of Riolu, I will quickly go through it since it is important context for this video. In 2021, it was discovered that replay files in the game store the exact steering inputs a player does in their run. The community member Donadigo made a tool to visualize these steering inputs, so players could better see how the best drivers had steered the car in their records. In most cases, this tool worked perfectly fine, but when it was used to display the inputs in records driven by Riolu, it would show inhumanly quick and jittery steering inputs. This eventually led to a huge cheating investigation looking at records in all Trackmania games, and a detailed report later proved, along with admissions from some cheaters, that records with these inhuman inputs had been achieved by driving in slow motion, using cheat engine to slow down the game speed. This cheating method was incredibly effective, as it allowed the cheaters to have superhuman precision and reaction time, in a game all about shaving off hundredths of a second. And for the longest time, it was completely undetectable. Out of the cheaters exposed in the report, Riolu was by far the most severe. He used Cheat Engine to set records in Trackmania United Forever, Trackmania Nations Forever, Trackmania 2 Canyon, Valley, Stadium, Lagoon, Trackmania Turbo, and recently it was discovered that he possibly cheated in slow motion in Trackmania 2020 as well. During his years of cheating, he completely dominated the leaderboards. At one point, Riolu simultaneously held 62 out of 65 world records in Trackmania 2 Canyon campaign, and later 64 out of 65 in Trackmania Valley. He achieved these feats while holding rank 1 in Trackmania United Forever. And in 2019, he managed to clean sweep Trackmania Turbo, 200 out of 200 world records on official maps at the same time. In 2015,
oh my
he was
fucking
invited
god!
to strong official target times for the Super Trackmaster campaign in Trackmania Turbo. The community at the time thought he was simply the GOAT, but as we would later learn, these accomplishments were all cheated, including the official target times driven for...
I just realized he put all his achievements, his cheated achievements under his Twitch. Guys, I achieved this.
Tornadeo in Trackmania Turbo. In total, it amounts to a decade of cheating.
Like normally you put like first at World Cup, this and that. Now Riolu put all his cheated achievements.
From 2011 to 2020, and it's estimated that he set thousands of cheated records during this time, making him by far the biggest cheater in Trackmania history, if not in all of video games. He was without a doubt also a good player. He proved that in live competitions and by setting world records on his live stream. But the most competitive and precise maps, he would conveniently grind off stream.
Well, this map was good.
From 2015 to 2021, Riolu was building a career as a Trackmania live streamer, and by the time the cheating came to light, he had become rather successful. But when the report was about to be published, he had to face the sobering reality.
No, don't play.
Years of bad decisions.
No, don't play the video.
Rather than owning up to it and taking accountability,
don't play it.
Crashed out in a now infamous live stream.
Don't play it.
Where, for the duration of an hour,
don't play
gaslit his audience,
don't play
denied ever having cheated, and called parts of the investigation a witch hunt and an attempt at blackmailing. All of this backfired when the report came out, and people got to see the inputs for themselves. And it left many with an even worse impression that Riolu had continued to try to lie to the bitter end. Shortly after that stream, Riolu shut down his Discord server and presumably logged off all social media. It has now been almost 4 years since these events have happened, and Riolu hasn't been seen in Trackmania.
Pretty cool car skin here, not gonna lie. This skin was nice.
Since, he never took any accountability for the cheating, and he never apologized. Most players thought he had decided to leave Trackmania behind and moved on to other things in his life. But as we will discuss today, that is not the case.
No, he didn't.
The reason I'm bringing all of this up is because the person that contacted me is Arcus, a leaderboard moderator for Trackmania Exchange. And Arcus had strong reasons to believe that Riolu was now playing under the name Eddie Rising. Trackmania Exchange?
How do you come up with Eddie Rising if you actually is real? Why would you call yourself Eddie Rising? What is this? Is it like an anagram or something? What does it mean?
In Trackmania United Forever. This website stores millions of replay files of players' records dating all the way back to 2008. Replay files contain a great deal of information. Okay. As mentioned, they contain inputs, but they also tell you what in-game account any run was driven on. In Trackmania, game accounts are called logins. A login cannot be changed after an account is created, and has to be unique from all other players. Replay files also store information about the display name a player used. It tells you the name of the skin they used, and the flag or avatar that they have selected. There's more things too, but they aren't relevant for this video. Based on these identifiers, Arcus had legitimate reason to believe that Eddie Rising wasn't who he was claiming to be. And in November of 2024, he messaged Eddie on Discord with his findings.
Wait, so Eddie Rising actually had a full-fledged Discord account as well.
Final communication between the two is that Arcus asked Eddie to record a voice message to prove his identity.
This message will sound dumb if I'm 100% wrong, but if you can, whenever, record a voice message for me, even saying, "Fuck you, Arcus, for making me do this."
Which Eddie answered he didn't appreciate being talked to in a condescending way, as if he was some sort of criminal. He said he would provide everything Arcus requested just to get this weird topic off the table, but shortly after sending these messages, he completely vanished. And Eddie
shit. Oh shit.
One of the best Lagoon players, it was odd for him to just leave without any notice.
Bro, fuck off!
January
fucking investigation.
Eddie made his first appearance in the Trackmania community when he published his first YouTube video, a 7th place in the world on the official track Post E1.
Guys,
based on the aforementioned identifiers, we know this record was driven on the login Ponzor22.
Sorry, but how have I not heard of this Eddie Rising before? How is it possible that how have I not heard of this at all? Maybe I'm just not in the hunting community? He was still rising.
This track has over 30,000 players on the leaderboards. Setting a time in the top 10 is very respectable, especially for what seemed to be a brand new player. Over the next weeks, Eddie continued to post records in Trackmania United that went mostly unnoticed, as the tracks he competed on were rather obscure. But in April, he got...
Wait, rip in pepperoni. That is something Riolu would actually say. Wait, rip in pepperoni. That is legit something that Riolu would say back in the days. There's no shot. Wait, let's have a look at these titles. Nah, this is actually like rip and pepper. That is like so Riolu.
Got inspired to play a different game, Trackmania 2 Lagoon, and his arrival on the leaderboards was impossible to miss. On the 29th of April, all the best Lagoon players were quite literally shocked when Eddie, on his first day of playing the game, managed to achieve 8 top 10 records in the world. And not only that, the maps he drove were the first 15 you encounter, and thus some of the most prestigious to hold the top record.
Why make it so obvious?
On, but Eddie made it seem effortless.
If you cheat, oh my god!
Out of 15,000 players on each track he hunted, all in the same afternoon. A streak of records like this from an unknown player was completely unheard of, and top players felt it just cannot be possible to get this good this quickly. Since they themselves had spent years getting to their skill level, it was quickly assumed that Eddie had to be either a smurf or a cheater. Eddie explained that he had some experience from playing Lagoon in Trackmania Turbo on console, and that the way he was able to achieve all the records was from rigorous practice beforehand. He said he would rebuild the map into several smaller sections to gain it more effectively, as well as comparing replays to analyze mistakes, saying he made very quick progress, as he just had to copy his muscle memory from practice maps to real ones. And evidently, this method worked because his runs were almost immediately the fastest in the world. He also live recorded all his runs and included footage of the gameplay sessions in his video, making it significantly harder to get away with cheating. On the same day as the spree of records, Eddie joined several community servers on Discord, introducing himself to other players and...
Wait, Mod, did he join my Discord? Molds, quick check. Did he join my Discord as well? No? Okay.
Attempting to put their doubts to rest. This is also where he shares the first details about himself and his life. Eddie says he lives in Kazakhstan, has a full-time job, and mentions having a wife and a baby boy on several occasions.
Bro, there's no way. If you are a cheater, you make up stories like this. My wife and I both work full-time, so it's a bit hard sometimes. I brought my family here because of our baby boy. That's some psychotic behavior.
Over the summer of 2023, Eddie continued to set insane times. Out of 65 official tracks in the game, Eddie at the time held the world records on 19 of them. He accomplished this without even unlocking all the tracks yet, which you do by beating silver medal target times. These are ridiculously easy for someone driving at world record pace to unlock, but in 5 months of playing, he still hadn't unlocked them all. One time when asked why his display name looked so old school, Eddie explained that he had a background in playing Trackmania Nations Forever in 2010, and by checking the online database Dedimania, they could see that Ponzor22 indeed had online records all the way back in 2009.
How's that possible?
He checked out, and it added more TVs to his skill. But to many players, something still seemed strange about him. Members of a Discord server that...
Wait, is that just like an old account that he created in 2009 and remembered the details on? What the fuck?
Eddie frequented said Eddie would often join their voice calls and watch other top players live stream their attempts, but he would personally never talk, always citing having his microphone muted in order to not disturb his wife. Over the next year, Eddie continued to grind Lagoon, and slowly but surely became a trusted member of the community. And in the summer of 2024, Eddie decided to return to Trackmania United Forever. In the description of a video he uploaded on the 25th of July, he writes that he didn't like his old login, so he bought a new account, and from this point forward, he stops playing on Ponzor login.
Shoutouts to Birdie TM for background noise. No way. Riolu was watching Birdie while cheating in game. Nah, bro. There's no way.
So he bought a new account, and from this point forward, he stops playing on Ponzor22 and makes Eddie A his new main account. In November of 2024, Arcus is browsing Trackmania Exchange profiles and stumbles upon the fact that Eddie uses 2 different logins.
Okay.
There isn't anything inherently wrong with having 2 accounts, but it could be a sign of account sharing or someone else driving records for you. Arcus was curious
the brother.
and searched the database to see if these logins showed up anywhere else on the site.
The brother of his wife.
And 3 replays from
Has been playing.
Ponzor22 appeared on an ancient profile,
I think.
Ponzor. This profile hadn't been active since 2010. It had 4 records driven on the leaderboards, and 3 of them were driven on Ponzor22, making it seem likely that this indeed was Eddie's old profile. But the 4th and final replay uploaded to the leaderboards was driven
The Accelerator 01. Oh no.
on a different login. And not just any login, it was driven
Oh,
as Accelerator 01.
There's no
Which
way.
happens to be the main account of
Oh no, there's no way. We have a problem.
This discovery is the reason why Arcus eventually approached Eddie in Discord. When confronted about it, Eddie explained that the Ponzor22 in-game account was one he shared with a friend, and that he made Eddie A to have his own one. He says he never knew there was a TMX account with the same name, and whatever happened with it, he couldn't say. When asked why some replay files have the Germany flag when Eddie is from Kazakhstan, he says, "I can only guess it was one of the people I shared account with." And when asked who these friends or people are, he was unable to name any name.
I'm almost certain this is not. Also, you keep referencing friends to people. You have to remember something about these supposed people. School, online friends. If you shared account, I doubt it was random. Just people I used to play TMNF with a long time ago. All online. Any names? It was a mixed group with people from Germany, Europe.
And as mentioned earlier, when asked to voice chat or to record a voice message, he didn't follow through. After this conversation, Eddie went inactive both on Discord and in-game, and hasn't been seen in the 3 months since.
His ass got caught again. His ass got caught.
Confronted about it, it's not enough to draw any conclusions from. And in order to find out who Eddie is, you will have to dig deeper. In December of 2024, Arcus messaged me with all of this information, and together with a team of players...
Hey Wordtroll, I might have some information that very highly might lead to uncovering that Riolu is playing Trackmania under a different alias. I kinda don't know how
what
to
happens
approach it
in this
myself. I only made 2
situation?
people from Trackmania 2 community aware, since that's mainly where he, under new alias, was active. Let me know if you would like to take a look at the information I have. Again, this is not a joke. I'd love if you could help me approach this topic. Damn.
We have tried to examine all the available evidence. Over the years, there have been many crazy theories about Riolu smurfing. Because of his swift disappearance, many found it hard to imagine he went from playing and live streaming the game every day to just immediately stopping. But all the theories so far have been completely wrong. The players Hobbit and Pustito Paco have had claims against them of being Riolu smurf.
Wait, I missed 1 sec. 10 seconds back.
But all the theories so far have been completely wrong. The players Hobbit and Pustito Paco have had claims against them of being Riolu smurf, since they rapidly improved at the game around the time he went.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought Hobbit was Riolu at the beginning as well. I'll own up to it. I'll own up to it. Hobbit was very sus. Hobbit was very sus, but the moment he typed 1 in my chat once, he was clear.
Enacted. But both have had clear alibis that prove they couldn't be Riolu. There's also the controversial 92 Bob account.
Yeah.
A mysterious player that started achieving broad records in
Guaranteed cheater.
just weeks after the cheating was uncovered. This account went from having 0 skill points to 165 million, achieving rank 1 on the leaderboards in just half a year of playing. And the community deemed it impossible for an unknown player to achieve such a feat, and figured it had to be a Smurf account. 92 Bob has been the most suspected Riolu Smurf account since the cheating scandal, but there's never been enough evidence to conclusively prove who it belongs to. In this video, I intend to leave no room.
Add. Guys, grab something to drink. I'm gonna grab some water.
Oh, fucking. And people fucking don't shit. Okay, stop running.
All right, my internet adventurers, buckle up because I'm about to blow your damn minds. Head over to pointerpointer.com. Sounds weirdly simple, right? But this website is a bizarre work of art from the olden days of the internet that
guys, don't go
finds a
virtual.
photo
of
of someone pointing at your mouse pointer wherever
it
it is on the screen. It's strangely addictive and oddly satisfying to see how perfectly it pinpoints your cursor.
Not just about who is behind the Eddie Rising account, but also 92 Bob. As with what we have discovered, we believe we have solved both mysteries. So let's start with the replays on Trackmania Exchange. When Riolu drove the run uploaded to Ponzor's profile, he was going for rank 1 in Trackmania United Forever.
Okay.
And in order to achieve that, you must obtain a lot of one particular resource. And that is coppers.
Yeah.
The copper system is an antique part of Trackmania and not present in newer games. Back in the day...
No way. They found out that somebody transferred coppers from an old account to this new account. There's no way. There's no way.
To compete on the in-game leaderboards, you had to pay 10 coppers per attempt in official mode. It is not possible to purchase coppers from Nadeo, but you receive 50 coppers for logging in each day. And you get 30 coppers each time you beat the gold medal on a track in official mode. This alone is hardly enough to sustain thousands of attempts at getting the best records. And many players don't bother with the in-game leaderboards for this reason. But for the players going for rank 1 in-game, it was essential to have a big bankroll of coppers to fund their grinding sessions. And farming copper competitions would have been a very important thing for this reason. The track where we found our Riolu replay on the Ponzor
Platypus, type 1.
account just so happens to be one where the prize pool for the best times was 36,000 coppers. We decided to scan all of Trackmania Exchange for users that had Accelerator 01 replays uploaded, and we ended up finding 2 more profiles. One of them was Cyrox, which had a Riolu replay on the same track as Ponzor, uploaded with...
Wait, but how does this work? It's just like somebody... So if I take a replay from Accelerator and I upload it on my TMX account, then it's just showing that it's Accelerator's replay under my account? That's how it is? Yes. Okay.
Within minutes of Ponzor and Riolu's main profile on the very same day. In total, Riolu received 8,000 coppers from this one competition. The run on Cyrox's profile had also been driven with Riolu's display name at the time, and then been modified to Cyrox before it was uploaded. There's also one other record on the Cyrox profile, and that one is driven on the login Hot Racer. This is also the login that Cyrox wants the coppers paid out to. Doing a lookup on the account Hot Racer shows that its current display name is Cyro, and downloading all the
Zone Nordrhein-Westfalen. Oh no, Dortmund. Oh my god.
Hot Racer shows that its current display name
What a
is
mistake.
Cyro. And
what a
all
mistake.
the available replays from the in-game leaderboards.
Guys, this is not my replay.
As well.
Wait, this is my
This
replay.
closely matches the 4th and final TMX profile that has Riolu replays
This
on,
is my replay.
a Yonex. Interestingly, we find that several of the thumbnails on maps uploaded by this user has the signature Cyro written on them. This user has 15 replays uploaded, and 13 of them are driven on the login xSamir. One is on the login Krabzor, and the final replay is an Accelerator 01. And the 13 replays driven on xSamir, the nickname Cyro is used 10 times, and Kamet is used twice as well. Closely linking xSamir and Hot Racer together, we also realized we were on the right track when we found a cheated run on the xSamir account. Uploaded in May of 2011 to the track 3 Strange Days. This run was likely driven in slow motion and displays the same jittery inputs that can be seen in Riolu's runs from the cheating report. The xSamir account went inactive in 2011 and remained that way for many years, until in 2017 it reappeared in a competition called the True Talent Cup.
There. Guys, I'm sorry. If I get shown here,
in an old video of this competition, from Trackmania streamer Spammy, we can see that xSamir or Absol as the display name is competing.
no! It's Abdul? What? Wait, but we knew that, didn't we? Wait, didn't we know that Absol was Riolu? Like, it was confirmed, right? Back then. I'm pretty sure it was confirmed. We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we knew.
Setting time so impressive that others in the vote.
Why am I driving with a police car?
Call are surprised.
Dude, Absol, who the hell is this guy? I have no idea who is that guy.
Since Riolu was considered the best United player in the world at the time, many had high expectations to see him compete, but unfortunately he showed up too late to compete, and was only able to watch Spam's stream. Riolu appeared in Spam's Twitch chat just after the mentions of Absol, and then continued to chat throughout the entire tournament. But if you pay attention to when he sends the messages, it is only between competition rounds. Because as we now know, he was the one playing as Absol.
Guys, Can I get at least 10 subs for having this footage, by the way? Can I get at least 10 subs for having this footage? I was there. I was streaming 10 years ago. I got the footage. Thank you. Thanks, guys. You see this? History on my channel.
Undercover in this tournament.
Thank you, Virtual.
In 2018, the Examir account would take on a new identity, and we would officially get it confirmed that this account used to belong to Riolu, because that is also when Riolu gave this account to his friend Lars. So Lars could participate in other Trackmania United
Wait,
competitions.
Lars? Oh no.
Riolu also cheated more than the one replay we discovered on this account, because when Nadeo scanned the leaderboards for cheated runs in July of 2021, Examir was detected.
Guys, it's actually crazy that there is no way, Virtual, you found that VOD. Holy shit. Wait, that's actually sick. That's actually crazy.
To have 19 cheated runs, resulting in the account getting banned.
Thank you for the gifted subs, guys.
If you now try to enter the login details Lars was given, you will be presented with this notice. With Examir confirmed to be Riolu's account, it likely confirms Hot Racer by proxy, as it has had the same display name multiple times. But now let's take a look at Password, the third login seen on the profile Ionex, and see where that fits into the puzzle. The meta.
Examir had daddies on PTC map, so you check the edition it was from. That is crazy that I had it before. Nice.
Stats for this login showed it was driving in the same zone as Riolu, in Dortmund, Germany.
Oh my god, Nordrhein-Westfalen and Dortmund. Yeah, Burim is stupid.
A Google search of the display name Oleandagu reveals that in 2015, someone suspected an account with the same name of cheating in Trackmania 2 Valley. These threads are the only time Riolu used Trackmania forums, and he used them to defend the legitimacy of Crashsword for Oleandagu's runs. Crashsword also ended up banned in Trackmania United Forever when the records were purged, having 16 cheated records in official mode. And interestingly, by analyzing surviving records from his account in Canyon, we can determine that it cheated with Cheat Engine, as the inputs are clearly in there as well. Crashsword also had a few online records that survived the purge, and perhaps most interesting is that the account goes inactive for around 3 years, from November 2016 until the 17th of April 2020.
I cannot comprehend that he has been playing on like 10 different accounts. It
then returns to play a few rounds online on the server of Puna Public. And by some miracle, only 2 hours after Crashsword's return to the game, Riolu decides to play on the same server on his livestream, after half a year of online inactivity on his main Trackmania United account. The final account we discovered is Buzzkill22.
Oh my god. Nordrhein-Westfalen, Dortmund.
Only does this login have the same name suffix as Ponzi.
Oh my god.
By downloading the replays from the account, we can see it uses the very same nickname as Eddie, strongly indicating that these accounts are owned by the same person. Both of the accounts also have slow motion runs on them, though they are insignificant and likely ancient.
_22 as well.
Every profile on Trackmania Exchange that has a Riolu replay uploaded links back to him in
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Clear patterns, and rather than being a very long list of coincidences, we see it most likely that all these logins belong to Riolu. It might seem bizarre to have this many accounts in the game.
Yeah, why?
You hardly find time to play on all of them, but once you see it through the lens of copper farming, it makes perfect sense. If you buy a fresh account and beat the gold medal on every track available in the campaign, it can net you 12,000 coppers, as well as increasing your daily gains by 50. Another strategy used by players is to buy a previously owned account. These can often be found for cheaper on eBay and could have a treasure trove of unused coppers. As described.
It was always a jackpot with coppers on it, says Techno. One of the accounts at 80k. Nah.
Here by the player Techno.
Copper farming.
For having
Dude,
around
what the
50
fuck?
accounts in Trackmania United Forever. and has managed to accrue over 3 million coppers this way.
50?
Anyway, if these other logins belong to Riolu over the years, then it is very likely that Ponzor22 now does as well. But let's remember that a lot can happen in 14 years. In the same way that Riolu gave the Examir account to Lars, Lars could have passed that account on to someone else. And though Riolu matches the profile of knowledge and skill needed to be fake Eddie, it is still technically possible that someone else—
Wait, this Eddie is not the Eddie that has all the records on map 1, right?
Hello.
No. Okay. Also, now I kind of know why Riolu got so salty when he lost the TTC copper bets. Remember, if you're an old frog, we always betted all of our coppers during the True Talent Cups on who was winning. And he always took the L. He lost so many coppers during our copper betting. Dude, I became a copper millionaire because of our TTC bets.
could have gotten this account. The most satisfying answer to a mystery is one that leaves no room for doubt or speculation. In
So
order to
funny.
achieve that, we have to analyze more replays.
Okay. Dude, this is a 10 out of 10
For the
video.
next phase of the investigation, we scanned all available replays on the official in-game ladder.
Mods, can you pin
We
it?
got the help
Oh,
of
Pin the
the
video.
I got the bug again.
After downloading all replays from logins related to Riolu, Tomashu crucially realized that records driven in official mode actually have a date and timestamp of when they were registered
Oh
on
no.
servers. Something that nobody in the community knew up until then.
Oh no.
Another important detail is that if a player had downloaded a competitive patch, information about which specific input device they used would be saved in the replay file. This was commonplace knowledge, but it was previously thought that once a record is submitted to Nadeo servers, this information would no longer be written into the replay file. But Tomashu discovered it's actually still there. These two data points could be used to identify patterns between several logins. And since nobody knew this information existed, they never thought to shield themselves against it.
That's
The
crazy.
question that came up frequently in the investigation was, if Riolu is fake Eddie, then who on earth is 92 Bob? It seemed unlikely that Riolu would find the time to smurf on several accounts at the same time. But the timeline of known activity from 92 Bob and fake Eddie lined up surprisingly well. 92 Bob first appears just after the cheating scandal and remains active from June 2021 until December 2022. At that point, the account had reached 200 million points.
Not suspicious at all, dude. Oh my god. I cannot help it but laugh at it. Like, how do you get...
After, in January of 2023, Fake Eddie posts his first YouTube video and proceeds to stay active until October 2024, where he drove his last known record in Trackmania Lagoon. And 1 week later, 92 Bob returned to Trackmania United forever. Though the investigation was originally focused on Eddie,
Yeah.
these new data points made us take a much closer look at 92 Bob as well. When we compare the timestamps and activity between the logins we knew Eddie had access to and 92 Bob, an unbelievable
This is a different
pattern
voice.
emerged. It starts on the 25th of September 2021.
I heard that.
Buzzkill becomes active again after almost 10 years of inactivity and rapidly starts setting records. When looking at how much time passes between each record, it's sometimes
Wait, this is amount of records, right? 3.4k, 3.5k. What?
as little as only 30 seconds, making it clear that the player could only be doing one thing: farming.
So he cheated over thousands on his main Riolu account and then proceeded to cheat another thousands upon thousands?
Coppers by beating gold medals. And shortly after this streak of records from Buzzkill concludes,
Oh, these are just
92 Bob
records. Okay,
sets
these are just
the
records.
last. On the 24th of October, the same thing happens. On the 31st of October, the same thing happens. Shortly after these persons Bob, the Ponzor22 account becomes active again as well, and farms coppers in the same way for 3 hours. And after the harvest, Bob again sets a new personal best.
After the harvest. He's like a farmer. Fucking copper. 3 hours copper farming. Dude, how do you casually play 3 hours of copper farming? Oh my god. Riolu is dedicated.
When Eddie accounts farming coppers and Bob setting a new PB can be seen again and
what
again.
The fuck is this psychotic behavior?
In 2022, the pattern continues. Only that now, 92 Bob and the Eddie accounts have started using the competitive patch, which contains data about the input device used.
Ooh.
And wouldn't you know it,
yep.
they also use the same controller.
Gotcha.
The way this data is saved is by looking at the vendor ID and product ID of the USB devices connected to the game. When looking at the vendor ID that appears in Eddie and 92 Bob's replays, it shows he's using a controller from Big Ben Interactive Limited. Looking at the Wikipedia page of this company shows that Big Ben has rebranded to Nakon. On the 8th of March 2021, Riolu posted about receiving the asymmetric wireless controller on.
Oh my god. No.
This esports organization to figure out if this is the controller with the same product ID as we see in 92 Bob and Fake Eddie's replays, I decided to purchase one, making sure to get one with the same packaging. I plugged it in and drove a replay, and wouldn't you know it, it has the same product ID. Vendor 146B, product 609. If both logins were using a standard Xbox or PS5 controller, it would be easy to write this off as a coincidence.
That's crazy.
It's a rather niche brand, and seeing both these logins driving the same map, same day, 10 minutes apart with the same controller is very suspect.
Yep.
When looking at the timestamps, we also assumed that when there were gaps in the data, Bob was likely farming hoppers via other accounts, and we came up with a smart way of identifying them. You see, there is one more way of gaining hoppers in Trackmania United.
TTC betting.
And that is by logging in to the Mania Zone forums once a week.
Oh.
This gives you a bonus of 100 coppers. Since the profile page of each player has a timestamp for when they register on the forums and when their last sign-in was, we
wait, that's your login? Manipulate.
Came up with the idea to look for registrations and recent sign-ins that match Bob and Fake Eddie. The imposter made this work rather easy for us, as he decided to register most of the accounts minutes apart.
Oh, it's his name backward.
Oh. On the 17th of August 2024, we see the Eddie accounts, Ponzor and Buskill, register on the site, preceded and followed by a horde of accounts in the same 5 minutes. Keep in mind that activity on these forums is completely dead, and I want to be exceptionally clear that a series of logins and last active timestamps matching this closely several weeks in a row doesn't happen by accident. The imposter was a bit more careful with 92 Bob, as that account doesn't register on the forums till the 10th of October. But Bob's recent sign-ins match exactly with some of the accounts spotted earlier. We now had a list of 15 accounts, all logging in at the same time on the forums to collect coppers.
Ads. Guys, is this Ludo the Ludo? Is this Ludo that I know? Or not? Probably not. Guys. This is insanity. This is insanity. You must have like a little screw loose in the head, as we say in Dutch, when you do this thing. You must have, there has to be like a screw that is like, ew, ew. What the fuck? Dude, I cannot believe what I'm watching. That's insane. Alright. We're going again. We're going again.
Now had a list of 15 accounts, all logging in at the same time on the forums to collect coppers and using the same controller that we know Riolu has. If having one identical controller wasn't rare enough, Fake Eddie and 92Bob and 2 other Copper Smurfs can be seen with 2 matching controllers connected. The Nacon controller and an Xbox 360 controller, both plugged into the PC when their records were set. Bob, Joe Urch, and Ludoswood did this a few hours apart, whereas the fake Eddie ones with this combination happened a few months earlier. Another strange account on this new list was Graphics72, since this is an account that Techno had told me earlier used to belong to him. I decided to contact Techno about it, and interestingly, Techno said he at one point gave the password of Graphics72 to Riolu in order to smurf all 9 together. And when we tried to connect to it now, logging in just one time on someone's account in Trackmania United Forever is enough to be able to hijack it, as you can change the email address on the profile page and then request a new password sent to your new email address without any 2-factor confirmation from the old email. Techno was able to confirm through his backups that he had the password to Graphics72 until early 2020 at least, but it had been changed between then and now. But apart from just using these accounts to farm coppers, another pattern that emerged is that these accounts would all routinely flood specific leaderboards with records. Sometimes it was just doing one run on each account, minutes apart. Other times it was an attempt at taking over the top 10 on a track with as many accounts as possible. Doing
super much? No way! Riolu was watching Scrappy most likely. And he thought like, oh my god, Scrappy's getting 20 gifted subs. The Super Mug song plays. Let me change my name.
I think this completely ruins the competition on those tracks, and it got several people in the community to wonder who was doing all of this. Many wrongly assumed at the time that these accounts belonged to Blackhew, a notorious troll at Trackmania United. Blackhew said he had no knowledge.
Wait. Texter 3000. Why does that ring a bell? I remember something about Peck being Peckington. Yes, Peckington. Now I remember.
All of Duffy's accounts, and Blackhew is confirmed not to be 92Bob. He did, however, pretend to be 92Bob at one point, as an attempt at getting a Nadeo employee to delete all of 92Bob's records. But he was unable to show he had ownership of the account, and thus nothing happened to Bob's records. This story is corroborated from the Nadeo employee. After much frustration with Bob being anonymous, he also notoriously and reprehensibly tried to figure out 92Bob's location by sending him an IP address grabber.
Yeah, this was bad. This was bad.
Fortunately, Bob never clicked on the link.
Yeah, that was
This
terrible.
action was a stretch too far and has been shunned by the entire community, but it also serves as great proof that Blackhew isn't Bob. Someone so hell-bent on figuring out Bob's identity wouldn't themselves be behind the account. And before you get your tinfoil hat on, analysis of Blackhew's replays has also shown he uses a different controller. He has live-streamed himself playing at the same time as Bob has achieved records, and he doesn't have any link to any of the copper farming accounts. So, no. Out of the accounts that have been flooding the leaderboards, the strangest of them is General Cool. On the 12th of January 2022, this account started playing official mode, both farming coppers and also setting very strong times on select tracks. Once you set a record in the top 10, your display name in-game is shown to everyone. The inexplicable thing about General Cool is that the display name this account was using was the full real name of the player Mizu. And whoever was doing this was essentially doxing him for no apparent reason.
Who's Mizu?
Mizu's real name was not known in the community, only by his closest friends that get added on Facebook. And he couldn't understand why
FWO player?
do something like this. Other players were also lost for reasons why anyone would do this. At the time, it was wrongly assumed that the player behind these accounts was, again, Blackhew, since he would often try to troll Mizu. And for a period, Blackhew did things like driving records with an exact copy of Mizu's in-game display name, causing a lot of confusion. So it wasn't unthinkable that General Cool could be him. But in April of 2022, Blackhew felt sorry for trolling the community, and requested that Nadeo delete all the records on the accounts he owned. Nadeo followed through and deleted all the records from several logins, like logins Nebria, Bella Machina, and Fraser. Okay. The General Cool account was never purged. In 2023, when Blackview was asked why he never requested General Cool's removal, Blackview said it was because the account wasn't his. Nisu says, who else would dox me on this random map? To which Blackview responds, I have my limits, dude. Trolling? Sure. But not doxing and shit.
It's just the guy that sends IP grabbers around like it's candy.
And in this instance, we actually know it wasn't Blackview. The evidence points to that whoever is behind the fake Eddie accounts, Buzzkill22 and Ponzor22, is likely the one who doxed Mizu. On the 3rd of April 2022, the General Cool account can be seen in a cluster playing the exact same map as Buzzkill22 and the other copper farming accounts.
Oh my god.
Only minutes apart on the same controller. The same thing also happened 1 month earlier, in March of 2022 on the track Coast Sea.
That's insane, man. Just to get through all of these accounts playing one round each. 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 7 minutes. You basically log in, log out, log in, log out. Bro.
What the fuck? Here General Cool is playing in the same... cluster as Ponzor22, where all of the accounts set records minutes apart from one another. This incident is before any of the accounts used a competitive patch, so we do not have any controller data for that streak. But the same thing happens 2 years later, in September of 2024, when General Cool, together with Buzzkill and many of the other copper farming accounts, drive one run after another on AO8 Endurance. Again on the same knock-on controller. General Cool's first registration on the Mania Zone forums happens 4 minutes and 5 seconds after Ponzor, and 2 minutes and 56 seconds after Buzzkill. And his most recent sign-in at the time of making this video happens on the 30th of January. Wait, that's 1 minute and 36 seconds after Buzzkill22's most recent sign-in. On the 30th of January, we also see several other accounts log in within the same 5 minutes. and especially of note are the accounts Ludoslud, Christian Klosa, and Graphics. For Graphics and Christian Klosa, their sign-up dates matched within minutes of Bonsor, Buzzkill, and The Lot, and their last active timestamp matched within minutes of 92bob on the 5th of January. As mentioned earlier, Techno doesn't have access to the Graphics account anymore, and when asked about this specific forum sign-in, he said it wasn't him. To try to claim that all these things are a coincidence would be foolish. We can, based on all these factors, conclude that the person who is behind the fake Eddie account and the 92bob account is the same person who is currently in possession of the general cool account now. Most strongly evidenced by these accounts playing minutes apart on the same controller in April of 2022.
This map is really bad, by the way.
Establishing exactly who was using the account to dox Mizu in January of 2022, I cannot say for sure, especially since doxing is considered a crime, and I don't want to open myself up to a defamation lawsuit. That being said, if we were to entertain a scenario, what hypothetical reasons could Riolu have to—
Let's just... Yeah, good one. Let's just talk about it hypothetically. That's what I also do. Just make up hypotheticals.
Mizu.
Smart.
Shortly after the cheating scandal,
That's good.
2021, Mizu changed his profile picture on Twitter to a picture.
Wait, this is him? No.
Picture of Riolu.
I've seen this Twitter account.
On the 30th of July 2021, he posted what, at a glance, could look like a foot-longer apology from Riolu in order to troll the community. In December of 2021, only weeks before the doxing happened, Mizu also posted on Twitter expressing a dislike for Riolu. But that's just one of many possible scenarios, I'm sure. Luckily, Nadeo has greater tools available. Ooh. Who the doxer is by checking the hardware ID of the Hardware IDs are like the serial numbers of your computer and uniquely identifies your exact computer to the game. The doxer, without a doubt, has helped.
Wait, do I watch the clip? Damn, I look like a hobo. What happened? I was growing out my beard. 3 years ago? What is this? Dude, I thought Riolu actually retweeted my... This guy is such a moron. Yeah, this is what I remember. This is what I remember. This is exactly... This is what I meant. But it was me. Yo, I'm sorry. You're not a moron. I'm sorry. You're not a moron. I'm sorry, Mizu. I didn't know, Mizu. I didn't know. Idiot. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. You got me. You got me. You got me. You got me. Yeah, you got me. You got me. You got me. You got me. I apologize. 3 years later, I apologize.
Other active accounts in the community, since nobody joins a game and is casually able to ride top 10 times, while at the same time randomly deciding.
Guys, I'm a little bit afraid. Dude, Virtual has like thousands of clips in all kinds of folders. How did he just whip up a 3-year-old clip just like that?
To dox a community member. By matching General Cool's hardware ID at the time against other accounts, Nadeo should be able to conclusively prove who the doxer is. And I hope they take this as seriously as it should be taken, as this relates to every Trackmania player's online safety. That strange incident aside, the final piece of information we could gather from these new accounts was the car skins they used. All replays in Trackmania contain the file name of the car skin that was used in the record. Even if the skin might not load for you, it is still saved as a name in the replay file. Digging deep into the archives, we found a Twitch stream from Riolu where he is playing Trackmania United Forever in 2020, and browsing through the pages of his car skins. From the skins that can be seen, many are default ones. Others are very popular ones that can be downloaded on a website called Mania Park. But he also has some very rare skins. Skins that there are no publicly known downloads for. We wrote down the names of all the visible skins from that stream and then compared them to the file names we can see in the replays.
Oh my god.
On 92bob, he is exceptionally careful to only drive with skins that are available by default. But on the Smurf account, he is far more careless, and uses many of the very same skins we saw Riolu had locally downloaded. For example, Ludoslud, the account with the same forum sign and timestamp as 92Bob, used the skin Bay Technoface. When asking Techno about this, he said he created the skin in 2011 and shared them with a couple of friends at the time. This is a skin Riolu had in 2020, but there has not been a public available download for it in well over a decade. The other most interesting find is the 1 Alpine car skins. The special thing about these is that they were initially created for a snow car mod in Trackmania 2. After Riolu played this mod and liked the skins, he personally requested
PP Hard, sehr geile Sache. Einige der Skins würde ich dann auch direkt in dem Video verwursten.
Florentius, the skin creator, to make them compatible with Trackmania United Forever. Florentius never shared the skins with anyone else, so the only way someone else than Riolu could have gotten them is if Riolu sent the link to them. 6 out of the copper farming accounts we discovered are using these 1 Alpine skins. It is of course very curious that during the time General Cool was actively doxing Mizu, he was setting some records with the 1 Alpine Rainbolt skin. But there's one final detail we discovered that completely seals the case beyond any and all doubt. And it is the fact that Eddie Rising is a real person. You see, when we took a closer look at the Buzzkill22 account, we discovered another login closely related to it, Gabriel996. This account built several tracks together with Buzzkill and uploaded them to a Trackmania Exchange profile. The email address registered on this Trackmania Exchange profile crucially had Gabriel's full name written. With this information, I contacted Gabriel on social media, and via his friends list, I found the actual Eddie Rising. I sent them both a shot in the dark message, and to my surprise, both answered. Up until this point, it had been assumed that Eddie Rising was a completely fabricated identity, but after my first few messages with him, it became clear that the reality was much more disturbing. Real Eddie's English isn't the best, but he said his in-game name in Trackmania used to be Pondor, and confirmed it was his account after seeing a screenshot with the colors. I asked him what he knew about Accelerator01, Riolu's Trackmania account that drove a run uploaded to his profile, and to my disbelief, he said he's known Riolu since they were kids. Eddie said they hadn't spoken much after he quit Trackmania around 2010, but that back in the day, him and Riolu used to do parkour together daily, and when the
Wait, that actually makes sense because Riolu legit was a parkour person until he had weak knees. Until his knees were... I can't remember what story he told. But he had like... He did parkour and his knees were bad or something. I can't remember.
The weather was bad.
And his arms were spaghetti as well.
He said Riolu is the one to introduce him to Trackmania and they built several maps together. He said it was possible Riolu had driven some of the runs on his account and called one of the runs shown to him too good to have been driven by himself. Most importantly, Eddie confirmed that Eddie A was not him, meaning that whoever was using his account now was impersonating him. Without Eddie's knowledge, the real Eddie did claim ownership of Ponzor22 and Buzzkill22, and Gabriel could corroborate this in my conversation with him. Gabriel said Eddie was one of his school friends. He said he had played Trackmania in real life with Riolu as well, but that he hadn't seen him for about 15 years. Gabriel said that him and Eddie both at one point logged into Riolu's PC, and that, quote, "We definitely drove time races because Riolu was very good and could help us." Gabriel also said Eddie and Riolu used to be neighbors, and elaborated on having times driven for him, and thus giving Riolu access to the accounts.
Guys, I'm getting goosebumps. Dude, what a freaking psycho...
This discovery was truly shocking to me. With this, the entire Eddie Rising identity in Trackmania can conclusively be called fake, something that we already suspected. But not in a million years did I expect it to be based on the identity of a real person, and much less a childhood friend of Riolu, who Riolu introduced to Trackmania. After analyzing all available data from all of these different sources, the cold hard evidence all points in one direction. It is no coincidence that all of these logins use the same niche controller Riolu was given by a sponsor. It is no coincidence that the timestamps of records driven by these accounts match up so closely. that the Mania Zone registration date and last active dates between them match up perfectly, and that many of the accounts use the same rare skins as we see on Riolu's PC. And when combined with the fact that whoever is behind the fake Eddie account must know certain things about the real Eddie, and that it just so happens that the real Eddie and Riolu were childhood friends playing Trackmania together, that it just so happens that the real Eddie has logged into his Trackmania account on Riolu's computer, and the fact that whoever is fake Eddie and 92Bob must 1. be a world-class player, but 2. have some reason to play anonymously, we believe all in all exhaustively proves beyond any reasonable doubt that the person behind fake Eddie, 92Bob, and all of the following accounts is Riolu. I'm sorry if you feel it has taken way too long in this video for me to say that, but I didn't want to leave any room for doubt and to leave any stone unturned. I thought it's better to present all the available evidence rather than jumping to that conclusion prematurely. I would urge Nadeo to verify these claims.
No way you used the line. I'd urge. No way. He used the line. He used it.
By themselves, by checking and identifying information I do not have access to, such as the hardware ID of these accounts. But I suspect that Nadeo already knows most of these things.
Yeah.
They at least know the identity of 92Bob since late 2021, and have chosen not to share it with the community. Only stating that since 92Bob's records are legitimate, they will allow him to compete on the leaderboards. The earliest 92Bob records we have documented were driven in
That's
June
crazy.
The early
That is I found 98% conclusively who 92Bob is. I can't share information. All I can say, it is and shouldn't be a big deal. Let the person play. It's a legit player, not knowing who it is. I hope it doesn't frustrate people to... What?
The earliest 92Bob records we have documented were driven in June of 2021, only 1 month after Riolu was exposed for cheating. My main goal with making this video has been to present all the information we discovered to the community.
Yeah, good.
But while doing so, I also want to interject my own opinion here, that I personally think allowing Riolu to immediately return to competing after 10 years of cheating with no suspension is disgraceful.
Yes.
Especially to all the Trackmania players that have put great effort and pride towards their legitimate accomplishments. I don't necessarily think Riolu has to receive a permanent ban, but giving no punishment at all apart from having to create a new account really makes it seem like they don't care for the leaderboards.
True.
Especially when he cheated on a scale that affected every leaderboard in every major Trackmania game in the last 18 years. It's been close to 4 years since the cheating scandal, and not once in those 1300 days has he taken just 1 day to apologize.
No, he
Instead
was
of taking
busy
the time to
copper
make
farming.
one apology video, he has found the time to make 65 Trackmania videos on the fake Eddie YouTube account. And instead of writing one apology to the community, he has written hundreds of YouTube comments on the fake Eddie YouTube account, while also infiltrating communities on Trackmania United and in Trackmania Lagoon under a new name. Before we go on, I want to make it clear that the actual investigation part of the video is finished. The next portion is merely an opportunity I'm going to use to talk about the toxicity that is plaguing Trackmania. When trying to figure...
Ad. We got an ad. Alright, we have an ad. Is this where I show up? Guys, I apologize. I apologize for anything that I have said in the past. I'm sorry. I did indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, but that is insane. He used the account of his school friend from so many years ago that he introduced Trackmania to, played under his real life name, and started uploading videos on YouTube under his real name, acting as if he was a person.
Out if Riolu was driving on the Eddie accounts, we will
Okay.
all the comments written by fake Eddie on YouTube, and it has led to some peculiar findings. Through this process, we noticed 5 other accounts that would write comments on the same Trackmania videos.
Am I really in this one?
Videos on niche channels that only receive a couple of hundred views per video.
Why am I in this video?
All interact with the same threads, they use the same language, they have a strong dislike for the same players, and they reply to comments on old Riolu videos, shutting down people who mock his cheated records. On the list,
Spam making another quick bug over Riolu's downfall, just like every other Trackmania content creator, but then they complain about Riolu having built his career on cheated runs, not sure what's morally worse. Yeah, and I'm doing it again right here. Thanks, Riolu. And Virtual.
of accounts, you might recognize some of the names. We have Slobodan Medara Donovic, Swag, Cyro, and a username I'll only be pronouncing as Urine. These accounts have left...
Wait, what?
Cyro, and a username I'll only be pronouncing as Urine. These accounts have left...
No way.
To 1,000 total comments on Trackmania videos in the last 4 years, and it is far too much data to analyze every comment here, nor is it the actual point of this video. But I'll share some short details about each account and how they link
There's no way this is legit.
back to the imposter. Starting with Cyro, I mentioned a very similar username earlier on in the video, and the spiderweb of accounts associated with Riolu. On the following YouTube channels, Cyro has written 5 comments, and 3 of them are with... On the following YouTube channels, Cyro has written 5 comments. And 3 of them are within 1 minute of fake Eddie commenting on the same channel. One of them in particular is a rather depressing comment, and as you'll see later, this is unfortunately a pattern. Cyro can also be seen as a user in Trackmania Discord servers, where he most actively discusses 92Bob and Nico. As a last anecdote, When I asked Nico if he knew anything about the Cyro98 account, he told me he used to suspect that it's Bob. Nico would often stream himself grinding tracks in.
Guys, I can't with Virtual's picture. Every time, if he sends me a DM, I start laughing. I'm not gonna. I just start laughing.
Discord, and Cyro would watch and muted in the voice call. Anytime Nico set a world record, Bob would contest them quickly afterwards. But as Nico says, perhaps it's just a coincidence. Next up is Slobodan Medaradonovic. The first time I heard about this account was because Nico messaged me and said he'd repeatedly been sent hateful comments by them. And from what I've seen, this account is one of the most toxic in the entire community. Normally, I wouldn't bother wasting my own energy or yours on an anonymous hate account like this. But since it is specifically Slobodan Medara,
Virtual could use his reach for something useful for once and expose such toxicity and Trackmania as something that we talked about, and you could probably write a book about it by now.
Who wrote the comment I showed at the beginning, telling me to use my platform to expose toxicity, I figure it is warranted to take a look at some of the things he said.
I like the name though. It rolls off the tongue. Slobodan Medada.
Slobodan Medara has the same activity patterns as Cyro and Eddie, writing YouTube comments minutes apart from fake Eddie several times. This account has gone out of their way to reply to comments on ancient Riolu videos 9 times, shutting down comments that make fun of Riolu for cheating. And like Cyro, Slobodan Medara is also very pessimistic about Riolu's whereabouts. The Reddit user Fuchus had long ago noticed that the Slobodan Medara rep
Quocha, type 1! There he is! Quocha! Member of my stream. Yep.
Account had 2 posts in 2013 where Slobodan shared videos from Riolu's YouTube channel. But these posts have since been deleted. After messaging him about it, he was able to track them down. On the 13th of June 2013, Slobodan shared the video of Riolu's world record on Canyon AO1 on the r/gaming subreddit. And on the 7th of July, he shared a video of Riolu's world record on Valley AO1 on r/gaming videos. Slobodan also left 2 now deleted comments on the first post, urging those who saw it to subscribe to Riolu's channel.
There is no way. This was always memed about. Like, this is like the same thing. This is the meme where you put the medal, where Obama puts the medal on the next Obama. Oh my.
It's of course possible that Slobodan was a super fan of Riolu and wanted more people to see his fantastic channel. But then one might wonder why he would delete the posts. Slobodan's comments on Reddit after the cheating scandal are often about 92Bob, and as you just noticed, predominantly about defending Riolu in several instances.
There's no denying it was good at third.
And when I made my video about 92Bob last year, Slobodan wrote a grand total of 56 comments. There was one streak of 15 comments on the day the video was posted, before returning one evening, almost half a year later, to drop another 41 comments.
Guy could apply for a job at the Sun with this. Oh my, okay, I mean Riolu got some funny comments in there. Like, so, oh my god. Word is the biggest hypocrite in the story. There is no life lesson to be taken here.
In a Reddit post Slobodan wrote on the 27th of May, he argued that Black Q should be permanently banned from the game.
Wait, I remember reading this post on stream.
Stating in his post that, quote, "In my opinion, he should be banished forever and none of his records, legit or not, should be uploaded anyway. Black Q has had enough chances to redeem himself within the community and has spat on every chance he received sooner or later. The community should stop welcoming such individuals that are not contributing anything but a nothing burger. I believe this sends a really bad signal to players within the community, but also the people outside of the Trackmania bubble. Certain lines simply shouldn't be crossed, and patterns of behavior shouldn't be enabled. and I believe BlackQ is one of the very few players, if not the only ever, in Trackmania existence who deserves such a treatment. In order to avoid a lawsuit, which Slobodan did threaten in one of his comments, I will state it clearly that we don't know who is making the comments on the Slobodan Medara accounts. But hypothetically, if it does turn out to be Riolu,
hypothetically,
I wonder if he would extend that line of thinking in the post to himself as well. Or if this line of logic only applies to those who wronged him and not those he himself wronged. The last thing I'll say about this is that there just so happens to be a post in 2015 on the Cheat Engine forums from a user with the same exact username. The post reads, "Hey, I've stumbled across a little game on Uplay which I was trying to mod with Cheat Engine for single player purposes only. To make it work, I obviously have to hook the process to Cheat Engine, so I'm wondering if Uplay or Steam might get behind it, aka recognize it, and flag my account for hooking third-party tools to the game. Any information on that?" The timing of this post as it relates to Trackmania is peculiar, since just 2 weeks earlier, on the 16th of June 2015, Ubisoft Nadeo...
Nah. That's why you asked about this. Virtual asked me how long the players who got the game had to play for the game.
Unveiled their new game at E3, a Trackmania title that as a PC player would only be available on Uplay. In a reply in the responses he was given, he says, "Thankfully it's not a Valve game, so I'll give it a try soon."
And this makes a lot of sense because he improved all of the times from pack on Lagoon. So for people that don't really know, players got invited to drive Super Track Monster medals in Turbo, and Pack was assigned to play Lagoon at the time. Yeah, you might be wondering why the hell is Pack playing Lagoon? Well, for whatever reason, he was assigned to play Lagoon, and Riolu played literally, I think he improved literally in the last week. He improved almost all of Pack time. I think Pack only has like 3 STMs. All the rest were all improved.
Make of that what you will. We have talked a lot about the YouTube comments now.
Now it makes sense.
I don't want to drag out this part for longer than it has to be. But taking a quick look at the last 2 accounts on the list, they have also alluded to Riolu being gone. They post streaks of negative comments towards Nico, Blackfoot, Kimura, Spammy, myself. They post comments on Riolu's old videos defending him. In October of 2021, shortly after Bob began farming coppers on all accounts, both of these accounts leave YouTube comments begging a top player for coppers. Uren just so happens to have created their account 1 day apart from Slobodan in 2014, and Slag created his account only 3 weeks after that. Then they don't comment on any of the Trackmania channels we see until 2021, where they all converge and repeatedly comment minutes apart from each other with the same opinions in the same language, too many times to be a coincidence.
Yeah.
With all of these things in mind, it can therefore be argued that these comments on these accounts are written by the same person. And as for who that person is, since all these accounts connect back to Fake Eddie, I believe it is most likely Riolu writing these comments. It's understandable if you are too. Looking at all of this...
How many takes? How many takes for that one? That is not... There's no way that's a one shot. That he had to inhale like 20 times.
And confronting all the nasty things has made this a very uncomfortable video to create. I thought a lot about if the video should even be made.
No, this one was great.
It, I landed on yes.
Yeah.
Since the community deserves to know and see these things for themselves. I thought about how to make it in the best way possible, and realized that with a subject matter this heavy, there's no good answers.
10 out of 10 video.
Summarize the video in 30 seconds, saying, we discovered that rather than apologizing or taking accountability, the biggest cheater in Trackmania began playing on an anonymous account 1 month after being exposed. Nadeo knows this and chose to keep the community in the dark about it with no further explanation. Riolu further infiltrated multiple communities, using the identity of his childhood friend without that friend's consent or knowledge, possibly also using the general kill account to dox a player who strongly disliked his cheating, and possibly leaving 3 years worth of hate comments towards his main opponents on his YouTube accounts, that all together in a spiderweb of matching activity, patterns of behavior, and language used. But without systematically going through the evidence, who's gonna believe all of that? The downside of making the video this long is that it inevitably could lead some people to think, it's just records in a game, lol, why are you taking it so seriously? All in all, I did the best I could. I made this video because I truly care about the game, and I wanted to continue being a friendly and enjoyable environment to compete in. In order for that to happen, I really count on Nadeo to consider doing the following. I hope Nadeo can check the information only they have access to, such as hardware ID, to verify who has been flooding the leaderboard with the following accounts, and that they can ban these accounts and or the person doing it from the leaderboards. Next, I want Nadeo to figure out who doxed Misu on the general cool account, and I sincerely hope they take this case seriously as it borders on being an actual criminal.
Yo, Misu, I'm sorry for that comment 3 years ago, buddy. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No offense. I hope
I
they
apologize.
can identify who stole Eddie's Trackmania account and impersonated him via hardware ID,
I'm sorry.
and help him retrieve the accounts, as in my conversation with him, he seemed really eager to rediscover his childhood memories. And lastly, I hope that they can stronger punishments for cheating, since it should be evident that enabling the worst offenders to compete with no suspension under new names only further propagates the problems in the community. The things I hope that you as a viewer remember from this video is not all the depravity, but the stories like Nico's, so that when you make mistakes, you can better identify the path that leads to the best outcome. And also that when you see hateful comments, they likely stem from hurt and insecure people who try to hurt others as a way of dealing with their own deficiencies. The way you should deal with these things is not to write hateful comments back, and I urge everyone to stay civil and respectful to the players featured in this video. I will end with the announcement that I'm going to use some of the money this video makes to put up a cash bounty for the first player to drive a 1781 on the track Snow B1. For the past 2 years, the players in the Trackmania United Forever community have made a huge collective effort to try to repair the damage done by cheaters, by beating the cheated record on every official track legitimately. In the fall of 2024, there was only one cheated record left to beat.
Ad.
How many ads does this guy fucking have, dude? Took 10 minutes?
What Imgur do I have to click? Guys, I'm afraid to click Imgurs, man. From people that I don't know. Mods, can we double check that Imgur? Can I click it? Can anyone double check that? It is save. You clicked it. Yeah, you're not a mod. It's good? Okay. I don't think Riolo ever cheated. To be honest, I doubt he is even still in the community. This video is just false. Eddie is a different person entirely and not Riolo. Not Riolo alt account.
Goddamn.
That's crazy. Alright, we're continuing.
Players in the Trackmania United Forever community have made a huge collective effort to try to repair the damage done by cheaters, by beating the cheated record on every official track legitimately. In the fall of 2024, there was only one cheated record left to beat, a 1781 by Riolu on the track Snow B1. Many of the best players got tantalizingly close with several 1782s, but before they managed to beat it, Eddie swept in and grinded to set the first 1781. Now that we know this record was driven by Riolu, it leaves me feeling that the legitimate players got snubbed from completing the project on their own, which they are absolutely capable of without his help. To reward the incoming achievement, I am putting up a $777 bounty to the first 1781 by a non-cheater. The requirements to enter are, perhaps unsurprisingly, that you have to verify your identity after setting the record, as well as live streaming the session and a few other rules. Full requirements can be found in my Discord. That's pretty much all for now. Now that this is off my chest, I will return to making videos that I am passionate about and telling stories that inspire me, rather than internet drama. If you made it all the way here, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing the discussion in the comments. That's all for now.
Dude.
Until next time, have a good one.
That was probably the best video ever from the Virtual's channel. That was incredible. Wait, did he comment here? Wait, refresh.
As one of the biggest voices...
Guys, you know, I don't have a lot of motion, but go like the video. Write a comment. Big shout out to Zero and Bass for editing this whole thing. That is insane. Well done.
The tier 1 sub to Ed Redacted.
That was crazy.
This is their first gift sub in the channel.
Dude, it's so insane. It's so insane that... Oh, man.
Thank you for subs. thank you.
You know a story... Let me say something. Let me just say one piece here. Okay, let me say something here.
For subs.
One sec.
Thank you.
Let me mute the overlay real quick. Okay. There was one moment in time. If you have watched my stream for many years, I always streamed together with Riolu. If there was a True Talent Cup, I was streaming with Riolu. If I was hosting an endurance race, I was streaming with Riolu. If I hosted a Battle of the Weebs Season 1 7 years ago, a knockout by Teddy. Ladies, 30 points.
Wow, just look at this masterpiece. Like,
I was streaming with Riolu 7 years ago, okay? I was streaming with Riolu almost every single day. Almost every single day we were hanging out on voice, doing things together. In 2017, he was apparently already a copper farmer. That's crazy. And I remember when his stream, you know what? I'm actually glad that his ass got whooped, because I remember he pretty much cut all ties with me when his stream blew up. He didn't want to play RPGs. He didn't want to play tournaments. He didn't want to play True Talent Cups. He didn't want to play anything else. He left me and all the friends that we play Trackmania with in an instant, because he got famous. His stream blew up. His YouTube blew up. He didn't want to do anything anymore. He switched over to PG-13. That is the crazy thing right now that I think about. He switched his whole live stream persona to be more kid-friendly, family-friendly, yet on his 28 alt accounts, he is typing the most unhinged shit ever. Like, that is like a quadruple personality disorder. That is absolutely insane. And now that I actually think about it, you know, at the time, I was a little bit upset. You know, when you stream together, like you do almost everything together, and then at some point, you know, you choose like you know, your popularity over having fun and stuff. Now, in hindsight, I'm glad it happened. Yeah. I'm glad. Like, that is actually cool. And there were so many times in that period where I remember, because it was, in the end, it was, I think I played TTCs. You guys remember when TTCs was still on the old game? And nobody really played it. I believe I streamed TTCs together with Simply Nick. Who else was there? I can't remember. The last couple TTCs, I always ask.
The strat to reading the Steam reviews page is all of these positive ones. These are all pointless. No one cares. The ones we want to see is negative only. I just feel empty when the run ends. Like I've wasted the day and have nothing to show for living. Is this how my parents feel about video games in general? What a waste of a Saturday. 20 hours is in fact most of a Saturday. There's no way you opened up Balatro, played it for 20 hours on a Saturday, and
It seems like there's a lot of interest in exploring different places and topics. Here's a fun plan, incorporating some preferences from the chat. 1. Virtual tour of Kyoto.
Okay.
Dive into the beauty of Kyoto, exploring its historic temples and gardens. Follow it up with a look at local wildlife. Maybe find out if iguanas ever visit Kyoto too. Markiplier and gaming. After soaking in Kyoto culture, enjoy some Markiplier videos focusing on his funniest gaming moments to keep the energy up. 3. Interactive fun. Dive into some classic interactive web games. Interactive Buddy was mentioned and could be a nostalgic throwback. 4. Random facts exploration. Head over to fun. Fact websites
take the wheel.
to learn about unique animals like bone worms
Oh my God,
and
Mule
watch
Dog, thank you for the
videos
20
on the
gifted
world's
subs.
cutest
Thank you, man.
animals,
Thank you,
capybaras in hot tubs. Maybe? 5. Chat favorites. Encourage everyone to share their favorite quirky video games or hacks. Maybe even about Sonic the Hedgehog or some retro Flash games. 6. Hog and Iguana Party. Wrap it up with a cool session about wild hogs and fun facts about iguanas. This mix should keep everyone
said that?
engaged and foster both entertainment and learning.
All right. That was with
And then like got up and looked yourself in the mirror and was like, fuck, can't tear his eyes away from the fucking screen, like Clockwork Orange, eyes wide, like can't stop staring at the screen. And then after his 20 hours, he stands up from his chair and he's just like, what have I done? It's addicting. Stop before you start. 658 hours. 466 hours. Then typed, it's addicting. Stop before you start. And then he played how many more hours? 200 more hours, nearly? This game is a black hole that will suck you. Don't threaten me with a good time, mate. Fucking hell. I think he really likes being sucked. This is too much. Okay, I ain't reading all that. Things I disliked. Core gameplay loop is very dry. What this person doesn't get is that watching the number go up is like crack cocaine injected into my eyeballs. But when I have a good build and my build goes and the number goes up and goes and then the fire comes up on the and it goes up. Oh my god, it's like crack. When you play Balatro, the exciting part isn't picking your poker hand and then playing it. The exciting part is A, watching the number go up, obviously, and B, the exciting part is the shop. When you're in the shop and you're like making decisions about your deck and about the build you're gonna run, that's like the cool bit. You're addicted to poker and cocaine. You got me, chat. You got me, I am. In the spirit of the game's gambling mechanic, I flipped a coin to...
Why there is this fucking weird effect on dual blades? I don't get it. It's only in like few towns. It's not always like this. Sometimes it just feels bugged. Is the upscaling that creates this fucking dog shit then? Like now it looks kinda better, I guess. But then again in town, there's this one place here. It looked so weird. Now dual blades look normal. Let's try without upscaling, we'll see what happens. I think it might get laggy at some point though. Might be a bit too much for my PC.
See if I should leave a positive or negative review. Brilliant. I love when reviews start like this. I love it. I really liked Balatro. At first. Oh, mysterious, mate. Really mysterious. The earliest blinds, where you have nothing, are just playing poker. Yeah, that's true. The thing he just said, I was expecting to point and laugh at the stupid... This is true. When you very first start a run, it's fucking boring. Like it is. But when you get past the very start, it's great. But that's not the game being bad. Like, a lot of roguelikes have that problem. Why is your name on Steam Chicken Nuggets? You don't like chicken nuggets? The game is just so RNG that meaningful skill expression barely exists. Cap. That's bullshit. That's the biggest load of shit I've ever read. Like, people say Binding of Isaac is just all about what items you get, and Risk of Rain 2 is just all about what items you get. No, it's not. The skill is efficiency. The skill is, if you get good items, you pick them up, and if you get bad items, maximizing the value out of the crap you got is part of the skill. Maybe he just doesn't like roguelikes. Maybe this guy's got negative reviews on a lot of roguelikes. This game is just unplayable. It's so unbalanced. I have like 130 IQ and I can see how unfair it is statistically. I have 129 IQ and so it was fooling me. Thanks for opening my eyes. Glad it helped you, man. It's a good game, but it doesn't deserve all those TGA awards. Okay. Oh, I fucking hate these people. You left a negative review that says it's a good game. You like the game. You are a fan of Balatro. Then why are you leaving a negative review? You leave a review like this that's like, you don't understand, I lost my job, my wife left me. You only have 50 hours on record. That's fucking pussy shit. We found a guy who played 20 hours on a Saturday and uninstalled the game. My main gripe with the game is heavy RNG and lack of control. I love poker. I don't think this guy likes poker at all. Mid. Well said, Suckhorn. Well said. This game is purely based on luck, not requiring much skill or strategy, just like a slot machine. It engages the dopamine mechanism to make people addicted, which I believe is unhealthy. If you're shit at the game, it seems really RNG heavy. You can lose in Balatro purely on RNG, but it's not actually that common if you play well, because you can thin your deck to remove cards that you don't want, and you can know the odds because you can check what's in your deck before you discard, so you can know the odds of whether you're going to draw stuff or not, and you can add cards to your deck to have more of the cards you want. It is random, but it's like controlled randomness, which is every single roguelike ever made. It's unhealthy 55 hours in the game. It's unhealthy, and I can't stop. I need my fix, man. You got any Balatro under there? Well, Balatro has plenty of cool ideas on paper, but it's very frustrating when you don't get the right jokers. Come on, it's just people... It's just people complaining about randomness. This game has an iron grip on my nutsack, and every time I think about not playing more, it pulls. Yeah, Balatro's doing tricks on this guy's fucking nutsacks. He's doing a fucking tech deck kickflip over his balls. The laziest made, worst UI, no polish anywhere, completely unbalanced, decision-making-less, worst games I've ever played in my entire life. As a general rule, playing anything other than Flush is a total mistake. Full House is okay. That's just the biggest load of shit I've ever heard. Because this is an RT game video. Shout out to RT game, by the way. That guy's chill. Look at his build. He does not play a flush. He plays one king. Look at his number. The best hand is high card. Clearly, he's completely.
The world yet. Fuck.
This is the most interesting thing we've seen today. This is the top choice. I thought this was a safe bet.
I don't understand what you're asking for.
I feel like... Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, most interesting thing on the internet is, has the Large Hadron Collider destroyed the world yet.com.
Broke the UI, he got infinite score. He got so much score that the game can't fucking count it anymore. You can clearly play builds that don't involve playing flushes. He's talking about pre-anti-8. Even if he's talking about pre-anti-8, this is bollocks. Flush is good, flush is powerful, they're easy to make in the early game, but you can build around anything. And building around just flushes constantly will make you lose. If you play the game constantly trying to find flush builds, then if you don't get the right cards in the shop, then you'll lose. Because you're trying to force a flush build. And then you'll complain, oh, well, the game's too random, I can't win. But it's just because you're trying to forcibly play a flush build constantly. He spent 17 hours, left this massive negative review that's like, hard pass, worst game I ever bought on Steam ever, and then he played the game for another, what? 70 hours? What a fucking freak. This review, someone has just lost a run of Balatro. They alt F4'd the game. They went to the Steam reviews. They typed this. Fucking furious. Bashing on their keyboard. Like rage. Complete and utter rage. And then they went to bed. And they woke up the next day and they're like, oh, actually, you know what? Balatro is actually quite fun. I actually quite like Balatro. I think I'm going to load it up again. Why does this make me laugh? What's wrong with my brain? Why is this funny? Why did I laugh at this? This one also makes me laugh. It just says 1.5 hours. I don't understand what's fun with this game. And all I keep doing is repeating the same 3 bets over and over, sometimes reaching the second floor. It's not even having thinking skill. It's not even having thinking skills. I don't think you have thinking skills, mate. I think you left them at home. I'm gonna look at this guy's profile. Oh, anime boobies. That's crazy. Okay. One sec, I want to see what that is. Brainwashing with tentacles R. That's what that blurred game is. That is a tentacle hentai game. Run chooses the build for... It's a roguelike. The game gives you items, and you pick them up. Because it's a roguelike. That's what roguelikes are. Imagine if it just offered you every item. Imagine if you played Balatro, but instead of having a shop with random picks that you had to make decisions about in your run, instead, every time you went to a shop, it showed you every item in the game, and you just picked them. Wouldn't that be more exciting? I think that would be a better version of Balatro. I hate when I buy a roguelike, and then I look inside, and it's a roguelike. They should rename this game to Ball Sacro, because this game sucks wieners and balls. If I wrote this review, I would have written Ball Sacro, and then mine would have been like 20% funnier than this guy's. It's a well-made game, and people obviously love it, which is great. But this game is not my cup of tea. All you do is play hands to earn money to buy bonuses to play more hands. It feels like a pokey slot machine, and I've never been eager to play those. You know what? This guy's fucking based, because it's not making any accusations. It's not making any bold claims. It's just saying, yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't like it. People are brain dead for letting a card game winning over project that put their hearts in it. I'm using my dipshit translator in my brain. Hang on. I'm thinking really hard. Okay, so I think this guy's trying to say that this game got nominated for Game of the Year when other games should have been nominated for Game of the Year. So if you thought that it shouldn't have been nominated for Game of the Year, that's fine. Thinking that other projects had heart put into them and Balatro didn't is fucking stupid. Balatro was made by one guy. Clearly the one guy who made Balatro put his heart into it. He clearly did. Also, how do you...
Oh my god, it's so red here. Jesus fucking
minutes.
Christ.
All the negative reviews hating on it being a roguelike. Yes, negative review because I want to kill myself. Okay, I didn't read that part. This game is like crack cocaine. I love doing it at first, but then I end up blowing a dude in an alley. Except there's no cocaine, just a lot of penis. Anyway, this game's good. It's addicting, and that's the only redeeming factor. The sheer luck needed makes it more frustrating. Again, you are a noob. You may as well replace all of the text in this entire negative review of like, help! I'm addicted. Help me, help. Game thrives on humans want to win in ever-losing conditions. It'll throw constant barriers against you, especially if you're on a winning streak, only to take it away from you later on with unbeatable odds. The game isn't luck-based at all. It's clearly coded that way, and anyone who thinks otherwise is a moron. So this guy is having some sort of psychosis. Like, not only does this guy think it's a luck-based game, this guy thinks that the odds are coded to be stacked against him. The game is literally conspiring to make him lose. There's no monetary incentive for the game to make you lose. This is like psychosis. You need to go to the fucking doctor, buddy. This post was fact-checked by real buffoon heads. True. I saw on Twitter a bunch of people posting websites that are quote-unquote anti-woke game reviews, and I thought it would be really funny to read them. I'm going in completely blind. All I've seen is the front page of this one website, and I need to show you it because it looks like this. I think this paints such a beautiful picture. And my favorite part is the top part that says, "Get notified of our newest reviews. You can unsubscribe at any time. Allow or no, I'm too woke." Video game reviews member exclusive. Video game reviews member exclusive. They want me do I have to be a member? Do I have to become a member, or am I too woke? It's gonna give my computer a virus. Another woke video game, or a great way to spend a few hours? Log in to find out. This content is for premium and standard members only. Are you No, I'm too woke. Get off my screen. I'm too woke. So I have to make an account? So this entire thing is just a grift to make money off of people who think things are woke. There's definitely no money-making scheme here. If they can cut costs, so can we. I'm not gonna pay you money for your dog shit drivel. Wait, this one's free. Boom. The best Christmas... I've never seen this movie though, that's the problem. Woke-o-meter based. 0% woke, 100% based. I'm just so glad. Based on a book of the same name, am I really gonna read this? This keeps showing up with Elon Musk and Donald. God. Surprised Elon isn't saluting in the ad. Yeah, he needs to be fucking goose-stepping across the stage. Content's so good, you have to sign up to... I'm not signing up. I'm not giving them an email address. James Carrick. James approaches dramatic criticism from a philosophical foundation grounded in aesthetics and ethics, offering insight and analysis. This was written by ChatGPT in the same way that this was made with Midjourney. So these ones aren't free, but these ones are free. But I want to see one that's woke. Like, all of these are like not woke, but Tekken. Tekken woke. There's a lot of stuff out there, and only so many of us. So it's not been rated. This isn't rated either. There are ratings, but no official articles. The powers that be hate us. The big boys have millions of dollars to play with. Richest man in the world, and President of the United States who's also a billionaire. AI generated to be really muscular and flexing on stage. Who is they? Who's the powers that be? The powers that be are the people you've got on your fucking screen. Video game reviews, member exclusive, but it wants me to sign up to their shit website. How do I sign up? I need to become a woke crusader. I need to. How do I sign up? Welcome Chungus Dominus. This is a fake email, by the way. Don't email it. Member exclusive. I am. Howdy Chungus Dominus. What's a funny one? Sorry. Premium and standard, so I have to pay money. So I made an account for no reason. I made an account for literally no reason. This website with the AI generated images and Elon fucking Musk and Donald Trump muscular flexing is clear as day a grift. They're just trying to make as much money as humanly possible. It's probably like a website made by like one guy. In fact, it's definitely made by one guy, because when you click every single article, it shows up with the one guy, and his name's James Carrick. Okay, we've got another website. The official woke games tier list. So what games are woke, do you think? House Flipper contains overtly pro-LGBTQ+ messaging. Pronoun selection, including an option for they, them. This is the most nitpicky site of all time. Yeah, it's like, what's that meme by the Doom Twitter? That's like, you control the buttons you press. Should we just start Googling, looking up games? Search a game. Is Team Fortress 2 woke? Contains overtly pro-LGBTQ+ messaging. Raising money for the Trevor Project was featured in an official game announcement. Suicide prevention for Team Fortress 2 supporting a fundraiser for a charity that is suicide prevention. That's woke. I guess we can't play TF2 now. I'm uninstalling as we speak. RimWorld? Gay World. I played this. I played Gay World. I played this game in that cheap games video I did. Contains overtly pro-LGBTQ and anti-heterosexual messaging. As someone who played Gay World is clearly satire and is trying to clearly make fun of gay people. Like, really obviously, like, it's not subtle at all. But the official woke games tier list can't see that and thinks it's woke. Gary's mod, woke, retroactively introduced a blanket prohibition on Nazism. Okay, do you guys know about this? Let me just show you this. Gary's mod had a bunch of servers. They would make detailed copies of Nazi-controlled France. Like, the admins of the server are like Nazi officers. And there's Hitler on the fucking wall. And a bunch of the people in these servers are openly Nazis in real life. And they laugh as Nazis. Gary Newman and Valve themselves have nothing to do with this at all. Gary Newman and Valve decided to ban these servers. So these servers don't exist anymore. And apparently, banning these is woke. This list was compiled from the Woke Content Detector Steam group. I am not associated with it, nor do I endorse any of the comments it makes. This website was made as a joke. Outer Wilds, they're all non-binary. They're all slightly woke, subtly pro. I told you. The Harthians, an alien species of the player character, are non-binary and use they. Told you, I knew it. A Lost Civilization also uses both female and male pronouns. Yeah, it's because they're fucking aliens. Maybe the aliens don't have human gender. They're aliens. They're aliens. They have 4 fucking eyes. They're blue. Actually, what about just like Call of Duty? Warzone, woke. Multiple pride flag calling cards. Again, you control the buttons you press. Subtly pro-DEI messaging. Female player character. Okay, so being able to play as a woman is slightly woke. Again, you choose the buttons you press, just don't play as a woman. Just don't do that. If you want to play as a man, play as a man. Woman equals woke, true. Ultrakill, woke. The word gay is spelled out by 3 mannequins posing in flag symbols. Tomb Raider, that's a great idea. Is it woke because you're a woman? Tomb Raider, woke. Overtly anti-male and overtly anti-patriarchy. See the full review for details. I'm not seeing the full review, I don't. Star Wars Battlefront, woke. Female frontline combatants. There's female frontline combatants in real life right now. Why would Star Wars not have that? Super lesbian animal. Okay, I didn't know that was a real game. Features a lesbian romance involving a player character. Yeah, there's super lesbian. Okay, but like, if you're one of these people who really thinks wokeness is bad and you want to be anti-woke, why are you buying and then playing a game called Super Lesbian Animal RPG? You fucking idiot. Geometry Dash, no woke content. Okay, I take offense to this one because Geometry Dash has user-created content, and user-created content is the reason that Team Fortress 2 is overtly pro-LGBTQ cross-messaging woke. So why does Geometry Dash get a pass? Half-Life Alyx is not woke, apparently, according to Twitch chat. Not woke, contains no woke content, but I'm a woman. But I play as girl. Girl bad. No like girl. Girl bad. No woke. Left 4 Dead 2. No woke content. You mean Coach and Rochelle are woke? Come on, fellas. For a plausible deniability, I won't say why they're woke. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say why they're woke, but we all know they're woke. You know what I'm saying? Pro-DEI messaging, female frontline combatants. Again, there are women in real. What about Half-Life 2? Half-Life 2 has female frontline combatants, and it's not woke, but there's women. Listen, I'm all for hating woke, right? I hate woke more than anyone, but like, can we be consistent here and say that Half-Life 2 is fucking woke? I have a prediction for Elden Ring and Dark Souls. I think Dark Souls isn't going to be woke, and I think Elden Ring will be woke, because Dark Souls has male and female choices for characters, and Elden Ring just says type A and type B of your body type. Uses body type in place of biological sex during character creation. Dark Souls, slightly woke? I thought it would be not woke. The reversal ring allows the player character to perform the animations associated with the opposite violence. True. Woke, that's just woke. Bloons woke. I hope Bloons is woke. I really hope. Bloons Tower Defense 6, my monkey balloon popping simulator is so woke. There's a gap in the market. Someone make Bloons Tower Defense 6 without all the woke. Try Bug Snacks. Bug Snacks is fucking woke. Get chat, ban that guy. Is the website a skit or serious? So the website was made as a joke. The website is a joke. But the website is based off of a Steam group called Woke Content Detector. And I think Woke Content Detector is like 100% serious. It's 100% deadly serious. It's like not taking the piss. Is our definition of woke too broad? They're like waking up, they're like escaping the Matrix, they're like becoming sentient. He's like, are we calling too many things? Is it possible that our term woke is making us enjoy video games less? Let's do Peggle. Peggle, not woke. Awesome. But that unicorn, the unicorn is definitely gay. It makes me too woke, but he's the manliest man you've ever seen in your entire life. Frontline female combatants. Warhammer is set in the future where they can biologically alter humans to be super soldiers that live for like 300 years. Is it unrealistic that they would do this super soldier enhancement to a woman instead of a man? It's a woman, you know the rules. That's real, I do know the rules. Please check Among Us. Chat's begging. Chat is on their hands and knees like, check Among Us, please. I need to know if Among Us is woke. Among Us. Fuck, it's woke! No! I can't believe it. No. I can't believe they made it. What? It's got pride flag nameplates. Fuck. Hollow Knight, slightly woke. Happy couple involves Nailsmith becoming a male model for the... That's true. That is true. There is an achievement where the bugs get gay. Why is that slightly woke and not just... Okay, so Among Us is full-blown woke because there's a picture of a pride flag in it. But Hollow Knight has got full-on lesbians and gays, and this is only slightly woke. Hades is definitely, yeah, I told you, I know it. Hades is like the gayest game I played last year. Optional homosexual romance. The NPC Chaos is non-binary. NPC Dusa says she's asexual. Listen, Hades is based on Greek mythology, and Greek mythology is so gay, it's crazy. How could you make a game based on Greek mythology and have it not be woke? How about your favorite game, League of Legends? Chat ban that guy. League of Legends isn't even here, but that's just definitely gay. Is Halo woke? Yes. Halo Infinite's the only one there, and Halo Infinite, that's just woke. Terraria, true, woke. Fuck! RuneScape. Old school RuneScape, woke. There's a Pride event. Who cares? Who cares? Who gives a fuck about these things? I'm breaking character slightly. If you think these things make a game worse, you are a fucking idiot. You need to look yourself in the fucking mirror. Why is this important to you? Who gives... Okay, back in character. I fucking hate old school RuneScape. I can't believe they would put gays in my RuneScape. It's just, I'm so disgusted that they would do this to me. It's insane. I'm gonna filter by not woke. And then I'm gonna scroll through these and explain to you, the viewer, how they are actually woke. Orcs Must Die and Orcs Must Die 2, you can play as a woman. Woke. Mortal Kombat, women. Woke. Pharaoh Cleopatra, literally named after Cleopatra. Woke. Geometry Dash has user-created content. Users can create content that's woke, so it's woke. This one's an anime lady, woke. Anime is so woke, it's insane. Sekiro, that's a great one. Not woke. Okay, but counter argument, there's women, there's female characters that are boss fights. There's like boss fights in the game that are women. That's woke. It's woke. There's women that kill you with swords. Woke. There's the what are they called? The like lightning people in Sekiro. They're all women. All of there's an entire society full of women. There's no men. They're all women. Woke? Second woke. Fuck you, Spider-Man's woke. Prominently displayed pride flags. That's gay. Get that out of my game. DEI messaging. The new person of color main character overshadows Peter Parker. The game is literally called Miles Morales. Peter Parker has his entire own game. Check your own library. The Jugfather is me, by the way. I'm called the Jugfather on Steam. Just thought I'd let you know. Result? Slightly woke. 38% of my games are woke. Darkest Dungeons woke. Multiple female heroes who are frontline combatants. A woman of color wearing full plate armor who wields a giant crossbow. That sounds fucking sick. Why is that woke? Who cares? Counter-Strike 2, woke. Women in it, that's fucking woke. Binder of Isaac. Isaac's fucking gay, woke. Smite, I've never played Smite, but woke. Achilles' law explicitly describes Patroclus as his lover. That's Greek mythology. Liza P, not woke. Even though Pinocchio is clearly like the gayest twink you've ever seen, you can hear his sanity deteriorating. I'm going to become a terrorist.
What hits?
Just for the record, though, that was a joke, right? You don't have to like put me on record.
Oh. That was bad.
We're just doing our little part to make sure that our products do not aid in harming environments like this one here, where animals live and thrive, and they work. There's an endangered species right there.
Your reputation precedes you, Hunter. I trust you know.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? I'm tired, boss.
Stupid slow human legs.
Smell. This is a very distinct paralytic poison.
Nigga, what the fuck?
Based on the scent, this one's paralytic properties are...
You're a fucking idiot!
Oh, shit! A spot!
A Chevrolet movie
Oh, you're back. Good. We've been managing here, but you serve no purpose in life. Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself.
Alrighty.
I know you.
That's fucked up. What? This hitbox is kinda dog shit.
It's real.
Get me.
Get him. Oh. He could dodge in midair though.
Misinput, calm down! You calm the fuck
Wake up in the morning feeling like
Oh my god. My VOD won't survive in video.
Nothing like home cooking.
we breed, we still are made of seed. This is my kingdom come. Yeah!
you're up on the sighted. One of the brothers.
Finally, worthy opponent. Our battle will be.
I'm sticking my dick in it. You know what? I'm tired of people being all fucking mysterious and all fucking, you know, beating around the bush. I'm sticking my dick in it.
Tashin! It's me! I'm home! Tashin!
Don't care.
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god!
No one expected this one.
Oh my god!
It's fucked up. What the fuck?
Get the fuck down from there!
Huh?
Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my god! Easy!
Fucking makeup. Well done. It's a good one. Get the fuck down from there.
baby, rules matter. And when it comes to the internet, few matter as much as Rule 34. In 2021, an Animal Crossing porn parody inexplicably blew up online after it was shoved in front of the wrong audience, resulting in a bizarre domino effect that awoke thousands to a catgirl hypnosis fetish, briefly resurrected the career of a Croatian pop star from the 80s, and was perhaps the only time in history where people's moms were unknowingly sending hentai references in the family group chat. What I'm saying is, millions of people accidentally collaborated to manifest the biggest goon meme of all time. But how could something like this actually happen? This is the unbelievable story of Newgrounds, Onkazone, and you. This is Bad Art History. If you clicked on this video, chances are high that the phrase Onkazone stirred up something in you or attached to you. But if you've never heard of this, it's a meme from a 2021 adult animation of the villager from Animal Crossing getting it on with Anka, the humanoid cat girl. So far, so internet. But on September 3rd, 2021, for reasons no one understands, a twisted genius randomly remembered the song from the Animal Crossing porno and uploaded it to TikTok, where it blew up. And that was the beginning of the end. Because as this song racked up millions of views on YouTube, for several tragic weeks, oblivious TikTok users and Facebook aunties alike were sending everyone they knew a deceptively cute video of a dancing cat. So what was actually going on here? There have been dirtier memes and catchier songs. And Anka isn't even close to the most popular Animal Crossing character to get this treatment. Well, it turns out the answer lies deeper. Because for 26 long, hard years, a series of horny internet phenomena were slowly lining up for Onkazone to explode.
Bitch.
And if that sounds crazy, put on your tinfoil hat, lock your bedroom door, and enable cruise control. Because it's time to talk about a website called Newgrounds. Before we get into the monstrosity that brought you Numa Numa, Smiling Friends, and terabytes of animated cartoon porn, super quick timeline. January 2017. South Korean adult animator -8 uploads onkaride.swift. And remember this Swift file format because it's going to be very important. Then, January 2021. The artist Zone Sama, famous for numerous contributions to Newgrounds and YouTube, uploads Onkazone as an homage to -8's creation. Now, as for Newgrounds itself, it's a website known for its irreverent attitude and thousands of culture-defining flash games and animations. And even if you've never been on it, you felt its influence. From Salad Fingers to Peanut Butter Jelly Time to All Your Base or Belong to Us to the Teen Titans parody that was the awakening for every online male in 2007. All were either from or popularized via Newgrounds. And in case you don't see where this is going, the Teen Titans parody, the Jenny the Teenage Robot video that royally pissed off Viacom, and Onkazone were all made by one person and all came from this website. But how did we get here? Unceremoniously pooped out onto the World Wide Web on July 6, 1995 by a teenage Tom Fulp. What began as a love letter to the Neo Geo console series quickly turned into two controversial flash games, Assassin and Club a Seal. You can imagine what the gameplay looked like, foreshadowing the iconic screw you attitude that would define a generation. Fulp thoughtfully considered the hate mail being sent to him by those who felt that his games were mean-spirited, and then displayed it on his site for laughs. From here, to paraphrase his own words, Newground had taken on a solid form, kind of like how digested food becomes a turd. And this turd proved very appetizing, as through the late 90s, Newgrounds rapidly cultivated an edgy user base while trying, in vain, not to lose advertisers. Why a brand wouldn't want to appear on the website where you can play man wearing exploding vest walking into a store simulator is anyone's guess. But then 1998 rolls around and lawsuit. After Fulp uploaded an animation depicting the Teletubbies coping with crippling drug addiction and alcohol, the British public was so offended by this portrayal of their greatest cultural export that the BBC sued on copyright grounds and lost. That is American free use law. Over over the next decade, Falk and his close-knit team worked tirelessly to keep the website afloat through ballooning server costs caused by thousands of game, music, and video submissions, dictating a large share of edgy internet humor along the way, and in so doing, setting themselves up for potential disaster. And speaking of potential disaster, it's a big internet out there, and honestly, have you ever tried Googling yourself? You'd be shocked at how much of your personal information is freely available online. But I know I have nothing to worry about thanks to today's sponsor, Aura. Aura is a VPN that keeps you for just one. I'm not living enough time, but we're not a species of human being who stood to benefit like no one ever had from one of Newgrounds' most basic features, shockwave support. Why does that matter? Because what Fire did for the human race, Flash Player did for Coomers. Coomers and Gooners. Two pejorative internet terms that largely describe the same thing. A person, usually male, who is dangerously addicted to adult content. And with Newgrounds' robust support of the SWIF, aka Shockwave file format, and the SWIF's popularity in adult animations and games, it's no surprise that hundreds of adult artists found their audience on this website. Now, I obviously can't show you why this format worked so well, so think of it like this. A SWIF is a container file that uses vectors, kind of like a set of instructions that tell an object where to move, where to rotate, or where to bounce up and down crazy style for 4.5 minutes. What animators may lose in terms of visual detail with this method, they often make up for with ease of animation. Combine that with motion tweens, a bouncy, elastic animation style infamous for its use in adult material, and you get the picture. And if you don't, I can only direct you with extreme caution to the Incredible Gassy or the Spider-Man backshots gif. The Shockwave format, small file size, and widespread compatibility at the time made it easy to upload adult content in that format anywhere it was permitted, especially on a website that gave as few fucks as Newgrounds. And this is where the rubber meets the road. In late 2006, a user going by Zone Sama would make a Newgrounds account, blowing up almost immediately because of her uncanny ability to imitate the art style of existing shows. In 2007, Zone was already blazing new ground and providing Raven and Starfire fans with the highest quality Goon material they had ever seen in their lives. Her Jenny the Teenage Robot video so closely resembled the actual show that Viacom forced her to take it down under threat of legal action. And fun fact, this thing is still haunting Nickelodeon because as recently as 2022, the developers of fighting game Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl were forced to remove one of Jenny's voice lines because of its inescapable association with the video. If that's not a sign you made it, I don't know what is. Between her mascot, Zoneton, and the wildly popular ZTV animated series, Zone had quickly carved out a niche as one of the most prolific adult artists online.
I am now a fan of ZTV. Here's the reason. It's because of this hot, sexy character.
But you may have noticed that we completely glossed over the fact that eons ago, a list of rules of the internet were carved into stone on a website that can't go 2 seconds without talking about fluids, religious minorities, and autism. And no, it's not 4chan. See, as Rule 37 clearly states, there are no women on the internet. Or are there? Rule 34. And also 1 through 33 and 35 through whatever. If I can be honest, the reason I've name-dropped Rule 34 without offering a definition is because, frankly, everyone and their mother knows what it means. If it exists, there's of it. Skibbity Toilet, the John Goodman dinosaur in 1993 smash hit, We're Back. The Microsoft Paperclip. Without much exaggeration, if you can imagine it, it's out there. And when it comes to popular franchises, there's a whole cottage industry of source filmmaker animators who pay their bills using freely available software to animate every character from every game doing everything. Major game studios are now so aware of this phenomenon that some play into it in their own marketing. Some, allegedly, have even been accused of making overly anatomically detailed character models knowing what people do with them. All this to say, from the sanctioned Rule 34 sites to the rise of animated clips being posted on traditional platforms, it was merely a matter of time before Anka, the Egyptian cat girl with the resting bitch face, would get the same treatment. And you must be thinking, yeah, this is very obvious. Why would anyone even need to spell out the concept of Rule 34? People have been making smut since cave times. But that's the thing. Grug didn't have access to the internet, which means someone in your lifetime had to be the first guy online to make this observation and name it. On August 13th, 2003, in yet another demonic act committed by a British person, the author of the webcomic Zoom Out made this panel. Depicting his devastation at finding erotic art of Calvin and Hobbes, he dubbed this phenomenon Rule 34 of the internet. And this was so self-evident, it blew people's minds. It fundamentally changed the way we talk about this stuff online. By 2006, contributors to the aforementioned satire site Encyclopedia Dramatica sourced all sorts of internet truisms from 4chan threads, anonymous IRC chats, and even 4chan daddy, Chris Poole himself.
The rules were created by the man to keep you down. They don't actually exist.
The resulting list became the rules of the internet. And its staying power lies in the fact that not only does it explain every single thing uploaded to DeviantArt, it's actually a very insightful commentary on human behavior. Don't believe me? Okay. Rule 43. The more beautiful and pure a thing is, the more satisfying it is to corrupt. Consider the cult fandom around Fluffy Pony Abuse, a collection of illustrations and fanfics loosely based on My Little Pony, wherein these cloyingly cute pony homunculus creatures, which only want love and cannot possibly defend themselves, are subjected to extreme torture. Or maybe Rule 42. Nothing is sacred. Religion, tragedy, the miracle of life, none of it is too untouchable to avoid becoming gay 9/11 Shrek pregnancy fan art. You know, the amount of times that I invoke 9/11 in these videos is getting like disrespectful. And we can't forget Rule 35. In the extremely rare case that no explicit content exists about something, it will. And to speedrun the rest of this list, 41. Everything is somebody's fetish. 47. You're probably never getting laid. And this brings us back to Rule 47. There are no girls on the internet. I'm gonna be so real for a second. Women have been on the internet forever, though women probably found themselves in the minority for most of the internet's lifetime. And the women behind anonymous accounts will likely assume male unless stated otherwise. But the female share of the internet is growing. And if you think that the majority of people flooding the web with yaoi, dress-up games, and slash fics since the 90s were men, you're crazy. Now, when it comes to the more hardcore visual stuff, especially when it comes to content demonstrating extreme views about women's bodies, it's safe to assume most of it is by men for men. Also, real quick on the topic of real-life harm. I wasn't sure where in the video to mention this, but you should be aware that -8, the artist responsible for the 2017 Anka Ride animation, torpedoed his career due to openly being kind of a torpedo himself. Obviously, separating art from artist is an individual choice. But when a person who makes explicit content expresses opinions about little kids, it's almost always a very, very, very bad sign. Anyway, let's return to Anka and Newgrounds. What exactly was that impending disaster about to hit Newgrounds? By the mid-2010s, the commitment to free speech and shock humor that once set Newgrounds apart was going out of style. And it was also around this time that Tumblr, with its reputation for a large female user base, social activism, and complete inability to stop engaging with trolls, saw its peak usership. And one of Tumblr's biggest draws, ironically, was that it permitted all sorts of not safe for work material. So in 2018, when Tumblr abruptly banned such content, it experienced an apocalyptic exodus of users from which it would never recover. And sensing this huge opportunity to revive its declining cultural relevance, Newgrounds casually let Twitter know that they would never, ever implement such a ban, and it had never been less over. The pieces were all lining up. And in 2020, when billions found themselves locked inside with only the internet, TikTok, and their right hand to entertain themselves, the release of Animal Crossing New Horizons was an unbelievable success. I can't stress enough, in early 2020, hundreds of millions of people became very online for the first time. And in a once-in-a-lifetime planetary alignment of a bored, lonely, horny, captive audience, an explosively popular game, and an app known for churning out viral sensations, Onkazone was in the right place at the right time. In the space of days, the backing track to the Onkazone video went mega viral, and how people found their way to Newgrounds, to Zone, to the Animal Crossing hentai that started it all, to a hypnosis fetish, and possibly even to discovering that they were a furry, is no mystery. Oh my god, I totally forgot to mention, Google searches for Rule 34 like exploded like vertically in 2020. I'm gonna drop it somewhere early in the video. Oh my god. I cannot believe I forgot to mention this. And that leaves only one loose end. What about the guy that made the song? Does he know? Did his grandkids have the heart to tell him? Well, no one knows that. But we do know this. Croatian-born singer, songwriter, and guitarist Alexander Martin, stage name Sandy Martin, spent much of his youth in Italy due to his father's employment at the Yugo-Potamian embassy in that country. After being scouted by a talent agent seeking the next teen heartthrob, Sandy enjoyed a brief career in the Italian pop scene between 1983 and 1994, announcing an official retirement in 2005 due to health issues. Hopefully, the former pop star, now in his 60s, remains blissfully unaware of his legacy. But the fact is, Camel by Camel and its covers have accrued upwards of 50 million views on YouTube alone. And the reason aside, if young Sandy Martin could see the hit that his song would become, he probably wouldn't object. But at the end of the day, the rules of the internet, thorough as they are in making this entire thing make sense, actually have one major flaw when it comes to explaining online boonery. So I propose a Rule 48. When looking up your favorite character, curiosity really does win. This has been Bad Art History. Thank you, as always, to the Lashana Ball Nation for making this possible. If you want blooper reels, uncensored videos, and extended cuts, please consider joining the Patreon. Peter, the Yowie is here. From furry empreg miscarriages to grown men in diapers, DeviantArt.com has long been pushing the boundaries of human suffering. And while you have probably seen your fair share of terrifying artwork in the form of memes, have you ever stopped to wonder who's drawing pregnant Squidward unironically? Unfortunately, the answer lies directly ahead, because today I'm going over cursed images you guys sent in that were either too obscure, too traumatic, or just too weird for their own video. This is the Latino Shrek edition of a Bad Art History lightning round.
What the hell?
So before we get started, these are all submissions that you guys sent in on Twitter and Instagram and Discord. So if you ever come across some weird art on the internet and you want somebody to explain it, please send it to me, please tag me. I will find out where it came from. First up, Mary Moth asks, why is Sonic dying in a hospital? So many of you have probably seen this meme, where Sonic wastes away in the ICU while Knuckles watches on through tears. Typically, the caption goes something like, Sonic, there's not much time. How do I juju on that beat? For obvious reasons, this meme format became widely popular in the English-speaking world and Brazil due to the mismatch of deeply serious subject matter versus nonsense caption. But which Christian Sonic artist unironically drew this, and why? Uploaded to DeviantArt in September of 2012, this completely sincere artwork, titled While I'm Waiting, was partially inspired by a Christian rock song of the same name, whose lyrics emphasize being obedient, faithful, and patient with the Lord. And the artist actually gave us all the context we need, describing further in the caption how Sonic suffered a traumatic head injury following a battle. So, in its original context, Knuckles here isn't merely hopeless over the fate of his friend. Knuckles the Echidna has faith in Christ. But why did this become a meme, and how is it connected to the wider CSCU? Christian Sonic Cinematic Universe. Well, nearly a decade after the original upload in February of 2020, a Redditor posted this low-quality edit where Sonic uses his dying breath to explain the quadratic formula. Like the limbless anime girl, the emotional intensity of this image made it ideal for an unserious format. And before long, Knuckles is asking Sonic everything from how to log in to the free, not password-protected McDonald's Wi-Fi to how to cheat at Roblox. But again, what about all the Jesus stuff? Well, amazingly, it would turn out that these three massively circulated Sonic memes were not only all Christian in nature, but all made by the same Christian Sonic artist, called One for Jesus. And statistically, every single person watching this video has seen at least one of these three. Let me know in the comments if you want a video about this.
I don't think I saw any of
what's
this.
going on here? Christian Sonic art is a small but thriving subgenre that saw its big wave somewhere between 2004 and 2013. And make no mistake, though Christian Sonic art is still being made to this day, and most of it is visibly ironic, the fact remains, and really think about this, few fandoms produce remotely as much religious artwork as Sonic does. And speaking of crimes against religion, number 2. My Hero Academia Furry Empreg Miscarriage. Now, this is quite the infamous piece of fan art, and the artist responsible has gone out of their way not to be associated with it, so we're gonna respect that and just keep it about the art. First posted to Twitter on August 1st, 2022, this illustration depicts an alternate universe Deku and Bakugo from the anime My Hero Academia, in which a freshly postpartum Deku lays on a patch of grass, sobbing with agony as his babies nurse on him. Bakugo, the father, cries in unison, and as they hold hands, the spirit of their deceased Empreg baby materializes before them. As you can imagine, this was received incredibly poorly, and by the time the artist deleted the tweet, it was already far too late. The furry miscarriage fan art was immediately reposted to adult furry site E621, where it received a score of -49, and within the week was blowing up on iFunny and Reddit. It goes without saying that this was fetish art. And though I could not possibly show you this, a huge portion of this artist's gallery consisted of anthropomorphic bunny-themed adult fan art of these two characters. Due to the mildly shocking nature of the artwork, it went down in the fandom's history as one of the worst fan creations ever made. And if all of this sounds incredibly outlandish, for those outside the fandom, you should know that Deku and Bakugo have a psychological grip on a small subgroup of their fans who are completely addicted to role-playing them giving birth, drawing them in diapers, and otherwise making fan art of them suffering unimaginably. So in a way, this was business as usual. But on the topic of imaginable suffering, number 3, furry parents fighting. This is a highly memed on illustration of an all-too-familiar family scene between a furry mother, an alcoholic furry father, and their furry child of indeterminate species. Like Sonic with a brain injury, the dark subject matter rendered in this cartoony style unintentionally came off incredibly funny. But was that actually the artist's intent? No. Originally uploaded to Fur Affinity in June of 2016, the furry fighting image was almost immediately reposted to a Finnish meme website called Narunapula. From there, unsurprisingly, it jumped to 4chan's poll board, and by December of the following year, it saw its first massive wave of memery after it was posted to the terrible Facebook memes subreddit, which is kind of a misnomer because this thing had nothing to do with Facebook. So why was this actually made? Tatu Japa, active on Fur Affinity since 2016, is an incredibly talented digital artist who makes tons of furry artwork, adult and otherwise. Nothing about the original piece indicates that it was meant as a fetish or a joke, and clearly the meme had staying power, because anytime a fight breaks out online between two fan bases, you are guaranteed to see this image. And in a very rare case of furry art becoming a meme, the humor came from its relatability rather than just dunking on the artist. Which is a refreshing change of pace from the usual onslaught of mocking furries for making furry art and having offbeat interests and being covered in hair. But if you want to be less covered in hair this Valentine's Day, then look no further than today's sponsor, Manscaped. Manscaped's handy makeup tips this % off, free ship kindly sponsoring today's video. Number 4, Latino Shrek YouTube family. More commonly known on the Spanish-speaking web as Millennial Shrek Family or Buchon Shrek. Sorry. This meme refers to a collection of Photoshop edits and fan art of Shrek, Fiona, and their kids dressed up as a modern content family. That is, people who film their every interaction with their children and upload it online for money. After an explosive first appearance on the Thanks I Hate It subreddit in April of 2020, variations of these images by different artists flooded Reddit for the remainder of that summer, and in no time at all, an artist had been identified.
Oh my god, so laggy.
Who goes by Shuke Art on Instagram, is the Chilean artist responsible for the Streetwear Shrek wave. After posting his original artwork in May of 2020, he initially faced minor backlash by Reddit geniuses who had discovered his art on cringe subreddits. However, post-ironic Shrek worship, as always, won out, and many more perceived these images as being cheesy but endearing. So why did this take off among Spanish speakers? As one commenter explains, it's an exaggeration of a stereotypical North Mexican/Mexican-American white-collar worker who's slightly overweight and dresses like a buchon, something similar to the word tacky in English. A buchon would always dress business casual and uses brands with highly visible logos. In Spanish-speaking forums, the meme is usually followed with tongue-in-cheek ignorant phrases and anglicized words. And obviously, this isn't limited to Mexico or even the Spanish-speaking internet, because every single one of us has an uncle or a neighbor or a co-worker just like this. A man who may dress silly and have stupid opinions and lack social tact, but at the end of the day, is a family guy. Number 5. Lois Griffin saw torture. I promise it's not as bad as it sounds. For any Family Guy enjoyers in chat, this refers to this image of Lois Griffin with her head caught in a saw trap. On the left-hand side, from behind the TV screen, Jigsaw Stewie says, "Item shop updated." But "item shop updated" is obviously not the original caption, so where did this even come from? First posted to DeviantArt in November 2010, this sincere fan art titled "Hello Lois" was part of a series of Family Guy film parodies by artist Irene Lamagra. And here's a twist, its first appearance with the item shop caption is from this 2019 exclusive interview with Chester Stone.
I actually got an exclusive interview with the Chester Stone. I'm excited as you guys are. What is the most, creative way you think you could say that?
God motherfucking damn!
there was no Chester Stone. For nearly a decade, variations of the Lois Griffin Saw image lived in relative obscurity until she abruptly began showing up on TikTok in 2024. And that timing is no coincidence, because if you're a mentally ill baddie online, then you are probably aware of the rise of Lois Griffin dark girl boss memes over the last 3 to 4 years.
Oh, what's the matter? What the hell is that?
Though the root cause of this remains unknown, it's clear to fans that later seasons of Family Guy increasingly portray Lois as complex, sympathetic, and tragically flawed, resulting in memes where her martyrdom is not only relatable, it's the punchline. But the sad fact is, sometimes your suffering, like art, doesn't mean anything at all. Sometimes it's just yaoi for the sake of yaoi. Number 6. SpongeBob x Squidward yaoi. For those who don't know, Squid Bob refers to the fictional pairing of SpongeBob and Squidward through the filter of classic anime tropes. Since 2018, you may have seen these highly detailed, beautifully rendered anime parody drawings of SpongeBob and Squidward doing everything in their power to deny their love. But did you know that most of this came from one artist? Between January 2018 and December 2019, digital artist Natty posted a series of anime interpretations of the SpongeBob cast that gained massive fanfare on Tumblr, and over the following year was reposted relentlessly, without credit, to meme aggregation sites, Twitter, and 9gag. And Squid Bob, ironically or no, is a pairing with over 2 decades of fan art, due to the way it perfectly fits the yaoi trope. A young, bright-eyed optimist and his dark, brooding counterpart. While it strains credulity to call any of this sincere, the artwork is nonetheless beautiful. Also, to clear up confusion on this very important topic, there's actually a second artist going by Jubel, who made fan art of the OG Squid Bob anime artwork. It looks similar, it's very pretty, not the same artist. But have you ever found yourself looking at a piece of beautiful art like this and wishing you were inside it? In 2012, one guy made the mistake of saying that out loud. Number 7. God, I wish that were me. It's safe to say most of you have seen some version of this meme at some point in time. A crusty screenshot of a DeviantArt comment reading, God, I wish that were me. So who wrote this? Here's some context. On January 15th of 2011, DeviantArt user Miss Susan 2 posted this 3D render of a woman sitting on a bed, holding a shrunken down, grown man wearing only a diaper as if he were her baby. Though this artwork falls under the umbrella of ABDL, Adult Baby Diaper Lover, Miss Susan 2 is specifically a diaper enthusiast. And she wasn't alone, because on October 16th of 2012, Big JB21 left this comment and changed the world. For 3 miraculous years, he managed to evade public scrutiny until one Redditor discovered his comment and posted it to r/cringeanarchy, a now defunct cringe subreddit infamous for taking no prisoners. And in 2016, the seal was broken. Dozens and dozens of users flooded in and spammed the original artwork with the same comment, much to the artist's dismay. And God, I wish that were me has been circulating as a meme ever since. Big JB otherwise left no evidence of its existence, as his DeviantArt account has been completely wiped, replaced by that of an impersonator who would have you believe that he was born the day the US dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. So, it's probably not the actual guy. But the artist, Miss Susan 2, remains active as ever, posting what I can only describe as deeply alarming AI artwork of babies in diapers. All jokes aside, this person needs to have their hard drive checked. And that about does it for this Latino Shrek edition of our Bad Art History Lightning Round. Let me know if you had a favorite, let me know if you had a least favorite, let me know if my accent's annoying, and let me know in the comments if there's anything that you want covered that you didn't see here. And it's honestly really hard to end this video format with a pun, so here's a skeleton. This has been a Bad Art History Lightning Round. And if you want blooper reels, uncensored videos, and extended cuts, what comes to mind when you think of DeviantArt? Rats? bondage? Some kind of weaponized autism? What if I told you that for 3 years, that was literally the case? In the summer of 2010, one artist created the single weirdest thing ever uploaded to DeviantArt. 11 BDSM drawings of cartoon rats being mummified and transformed into ham and cheese slaves. A collection of artwork so cursed, it's been crowned the Dark Prince of DeviantArt autism. But how on earth does a person figure out that this is their fetish if it's a fetish at all? And did the artist who unleashed this thing ever escape that Olive Garden? This is the legend of the DeviantArt rat meat guy. This is bad art history. Real quick, before we get started, Scumbagovich is done. From here on out, I'm just going by my name, so I am just Frankie Faye. It all started with 3 words: forever tied up, deletized. On December 21st of 2009, an Olive Garden superfan going by the name Rafe15 posted the first of 11 genuinely concerning illustrations. Of greatest note was the one depicting Jake, the rat from the Disney movie, being mummified with rope, transforming into a deli meat homunculus, and loving every second of it. While some hope that this was just a troll, given the seemingly impossible assortment of fetishes on display, Rafe15 just kept uploading and uploading. And when the Reddit hive mind stumbled upon his creation, all hell broke loose. Redditors, goons, and Chan users fell to their knees before the raw autistic energy radiating from this image. And to be clear, that's not my phrasing, because as these images infected forum after forum, the internet soon convened to declare this the single most autistic thing ever to come from DeviantArt. Driven insane with fear, viewers bombarded Rafe15's comment sections with insults and hatred. And no sooner did he begin his artistic career than he abandoned both of his DeviantArt accounts for good. So let's take a step back. Why would people react like this? As far as bizarre fetish art online, if that's what this is, then this was pretty tame. And remember, by 2013, the term autism on the internet was much more synonymous with something like the Sonichu comic series than it ever was with deli meat transformation. Well, unlike Sonichu and unlike the vast majority of online spank material, it wasn't actually the artwork that was scaring the host. It was the captions. The thing about Forever tied up Jake is that he loves being tied up and wants to lick other mice with his permanent bologna, ham, and cream cheese tongue, and pass the virus on to them that will fully deletize and change their organs and insides so they end up rope mummified, covered in permanent rubbery rope just like him. Literally a machine. Literally like a machine and enjoying it. Wearing the bondage like a form of permanent clothing that can't be taken off. There is a lot to unwrap here, so before we can explain what's actually going on, a quick timeline. Winter of 2009. The original 11 illustrations were uploaded starting December of that year, but they didn't see the light of day until one DeviantArt user stumbled upon the tied-up Justice caption. Traumatized and wishing to infect the rest of humanity with this knowledge, which, I kid you not, is actually part of this fetish, the anonymous user posted the full caption to operatorchan.org. Commenters resoundingly agreed this felt sexual and creepy. Over the following months, deletization art became a frequent flyer on DeviantArt cringe threads on sites like NeoGAF and Something Awful. Tied Up Jake himself became a minor celebrity, with a cult of internet terrorists ready to paste the caption anywhere they went. This thing was appearing on Steam discussion pages, comment sections on random blogs, and even on educational resources about the other kin community. The community of 12 to 15 people who identified as non-human animals. 2013 was a very different time, but the morbid curiosity soon turned to chud rage, because no one could figure out if this wasn't some 300 IQ satire and the guy that made this was being completely serious. What kind of fetish could this possibly have been? Was it the rats? The rope? The ham? Some fourth, even worse thing that only existed on DeviantArt? Well, to answer that, we should answer a much more basic question, and one that I am sure you are wondering yourself. Why is DeviantArt like that?
Undertale feed? What?
DeviantArt is an art-sharing website that, by the mid-2010s, developed a horrific reputation for being a psychological horror fetish thunderdome with the occasional very nice piece of art. But it didn't get that way overnight. Launched on August 7th of 2000 as a hub for custom software skins, it was originally a completely different website. But in a decision that probably keeps him up at night, co-founder Matt Stevens saw the massive potential in offering artists a central website to upload their work. And by November 2006, a recognizable version of DeviantArt had taken shape. As word spread and the site grew a burgeoning user base, numerous subcultures developed. Among them otakus, furries, bronies, people who made genuinely upsetting art of Disney characters. You can see where the problem is beginning to form. Before long, a certain type of adult artwork that had once only ever lived on forums was now being centralized on DeviantArt. But how? If DeviantArt's terms of service forbid uploading porn, then what's the problem? Crucially, unlike other art sites, DeviantArt has no downvote system and, I cannot stress this enough, no quality control whatsoever. So for every one of these, you get about 3 billion of these. Since this type of fetish art doesn't actually break any rules, DeviantArt was almost immediately overrun with low-quality spank bank material. It never had a chance. And here's where we get to the root of the problem, because if you take fetish art out of context, a lot of the time, it can look incredibly funny. Some may even describe it as cringe. Now this brings us back to the rat meat thing in 2013. At that time, DeviantArt cringe compilations were all the rage, and what could be more classically DeviantArt than bondage hypnosis rat deli meat transformation art? Though many suspected that this was just too perfect to be real, luckily for us, Rafe15 didn't just hint at the fact that he had a strange fetish. He quite literally spelled it out. BDSM and Pikachu. A pretty strong allegation, but not as strong as the processing power of today's sponsor, Meta PCs. Customizing and rendered on a Meta PC's components. So to know that this is fetish art, but can we prove it? Yes, and here's how. 1. Predicament. All of these illustrations are insistent on the fact that the characters are completely immobilized, helpless to stop their transformation into a smelly piece of meat, and importantly, that they love it. This is pretty characteristic of fetish art, which often focuses disproportionately on the reaction of the subject to some very bizarre scenario. As a rule of thumb, the weirder the scenario and the more misplaced the subject's reaction, the more likely you're looking at fetish art. If you need a really good example of this, consider one of my least favorite images of all time.
You want to rub my feet?
If you were living on the bottom of Sonic's foot, you wouldn't be making this face. Which brings us along to 2, repetition. Rafe15's word choice is no accident. He uses very specific fetish vocabulary in his captions. Mummified, bondage, permanent, literally like a machine, and enjoying it. But he didn't stop there, inventing his own words to describe the permanence of the transformation, which is where this phrase, forever tied up, delatized, comes from. The Pikachu one sums it up pretty well. Loves being wrapped up in bondage, so tied up, one word, bound so tightly, so fully delatized, the blood a mixture of ketchup, tomato, pizza, and barbecue sauce, as the blood running through the permanent ham veins, like it just goes on and on. You can literally smell these images. So what's going on here, fetish-wise? Rafe is fixated on a type of bondage called mummification, in which the entire body is tightly wrapped. People who are into this seek out feelings of complete bodily surrender. And according to psychologist and professional gamer wizard Dr. Mark Griffith, there's a strong overlap psychologically between mummification, claustrophilia, the opposite of claustrophobia, and rubber suit fetishes, which is very interesting given the amount of times Rafe15 specifies rubbery rope. Now, as for how Rafe, or really anybody on this planet, could figure out that they were into this, it's generally never on purpose. Sometimes you just know, sometimes you're watching a cartoon at a formative time and just something clicks in your head precisely the right way. Though there's no scientific consensus on how these things even form, The best answer we have right now seems to be some combination of classical conditioning and just knowing what you like. But that's not even remotely the end of it, because there's a lot more fetish stuff going on here. You should be aware that sensual fan art of anime broads turning into tables and chairs and all manner of thing is everywhere on this website. Because for those who are into this stuff, inanimate object transformation, much like mummification, is about surrendering bodily autonomy in a controlled setting. And interestingly, the biting and licking thing in order to spread the transformation deli meat virus, about which Rafe has written obsessively, is actually a relatively common fetish trope. Plenty of transformation material is also focused on humiliating and disfiguring changes. But there's just something about transforming into these incredibly smelly foods, being immobilized with rope, and turning into a stupid, drooling, mindless thing that feels a lot closer to the humiliation end of the spectrum. And speaking of the spectrum, it's TISM time. DeviantArt autism. Everyone knows what it means, or do they? As you are probably aware, the internet has a strained relationship with the term autism. Online, it's typically used to be cringe, socially unaware, or stupid. Lolcows, internet figures known for their outlandish behavior, are famously overrepresented on the spectrum, be it Chris-Chan, or Justin RPG, or the Poop Swatch. Although opinion does seem to be turning on that last one. In fact, Encyclopedia Dramatica has gone ahead and assembled a huge list of noteworthy autistic people, including Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, every person in Finland, and the girl who lives. Now on the real, autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It is not a mental illness per se. It is a fundamental difference in the way a person's brain works. And though it exists along the spectrum, it is typically characterized by social deficits and repetitive, restricted behavior. And it goes without saying that on the more severe end of the spectrum, it presents as a profound disability. Now, weaponized autism, which came from a turn of phrase used in this 2010 Cracked article, has often been used to describe acts done for the greater good by people who weaponize their collective autism in order to track down animal abusers, find real-life criminals, and solve mysteries. But for the time being, if someone online calls you an autist or an exceptional individual, they're not paying you a compliment. So what is DeviantArt autism? There isn't scholarly research on this yet, but from what I gather and from asking autistic viewers of the channel, which is like 90% of you, it seems to be extremely niche interests, like a background character who only shows up twice.
Hey pal, you just blowing from stupid town?
Or a very obscure fetish that uniquely appeals to someone on the spectrum. This can result in spammy, low-quality artwork that to an outsider can look anything from ridiculous to extremely fetishistic. So when the tied-up Jake art hit the forums, for better or worse, virtually everyone who saw it identified it as being a severe case of DeviantArt autism. But wait, cry the Christorians. What about Sonichu? In terms of internet art autism, is Sonichu not the rightful king? Well, yes, but the fact remains, Sonichu did not originate from DeviantArt. The vast majority of Chris-Chan's artwork is not fetishistic by nature, with the exception of a few very unfortunate pieces, and the extremely dense writing style is not in service of a fetish. 90% of Chris-Chan's writing is just exposition and compliments to the chef. So, to close the loop on this, in terms of DeviantArt autism, Tied Up Jake may not be the single most autistic thing to ever hit the internet, but he is certainly up there. And please bear in mind, people with autism can have fetishes. People can have fetishes without having autism. It's a big world out there. Also worth pointing out during the research, a lot of people with autism prefer the feeling of body pressure, be it through a weighted blanket or restricted clothing. So although people have lobbed the word autism at this artwork and at Rafe himself, I do think it's very interesting to point out that the body pressure sensation is very obviously present in this assortment of fetishes, be it the crushing or the tying or the immobilization with rope. I don't know if that's one-to-one. I suspect that it might be a coincidence. Just happens to be the fetish that lines up with that particular feeling, but I thought that one was really interesting, and this only occurred to me after I wrote the script. And that brings us to our culprit. What kind of person would make this? So some have speculated that rather than a fetish, Rafe15 may suffer some combination of autism and OCD that causes him to obsessively fixate on several visual motifs. It's probably a little column A, little column B, but to be totally clear, nobody actually knows this. Active on DeviantArt from 2009 to 2013, Rafe15 is not a fetish artist, but a hobbyist who dabbles in everything from digital art to model building to photography. One of the few existing photos of this guy that we have show him pensively slumped on the floor at an Olive Garden. While no one knows for sure if Rafe15 has autism, he is obviously developmentally different. And in no way did he deserve the onslaught of name-calling when people discovered his work. Among his entire gallery, the Foreverio Tied-Up Deletai series is the most infamous, but vastly outnumbered by his far more normal posts. And though he seems to have been run off the internet completely by April of 2013, voluntarily or no, his legacy persists. Rafe15's wild imagination inspired a ton of fan art, good and deeply evil. And honestly, whether you get your rocks off to rats, rope, ham, or some combination thereof, so long as you're not hurting anyone, DeviantArt will always have you. And your meat. This has been Bad Art History. This video was made possible by MetaPCs. Use code FRANK.
That's funny. Ah. But is it really mummification fucking fetish? He's like explaining fucking taste and shit. Sounds more like sasu fucking gification. It's more like sausage making than mummy making. Yeah. Reach. Are you serious, little bro? Pregnant Luigi.
It's a strange time to be named Luigi, especially if you're fat, gay, and dating your brother. Since the dawn of the internet, Luigi, unlike Mario, has consistently been the target of the weirdest fetish art ever made. Whether he's 9 months pregnant, inflated, or passionately making out with his own brother, Luigi fan art is so bizarre that pundits have even accused it of attacking family values. But how did politicians find out about Super Mario incest in the first place? Why is DeviantArt obsessed with corrupting Luigi specifically? And how is his downfall linked to the housing crisis of 2008? This is the unbelievable sequence of events that got Luigi pregnant. This is Bad Art History. Like most things gay and weird, our story begins in the 90s with a company called Big City Animation. But before we bust that one open, in case you've never seen this, pregnant, inflated, gay Luigi is a subgenre of fetish art that's been floating around the internet for at least 15 years. And while it's easy to look at something like this and assume that it's nothing more than DeviantArt weirdness, as soon as you try to figure out where any of it came from, nothing makes sense. Why was almost all of it a one-time thing for the artists who made it? Irony alone does not explain this, but I think I figured out what happened. In the mid-2000s, 3 events would unfold in rapid succession and ruin Luigi's life. First, in 2005, some jabroni goes to the zoo and uploads a video of it to a new website called YouTube. Then, in 2006, a British kids channel begins airing reruns of a Mario cartoon so famously ass that it broke thousands of young minds. And in 2007, VHS tapes of this show would make their way into the hands of the infamous YouTube poop community. But we're missing something. There's only one character in existence who could have reasonably gotten Luigi pregnant. A character conspicuously absent from an obscure educational game from 1993. Mario is missing. Strap in for the most batshit crazy art history lesson of your life. In 1985, Super Mario Bros. Came out for the NES and changed the entertainment landscape forever. And I'm sure this is familiar to you, but to kids in the 80s, this was the equivalent of landing on the moon. So meteoric was Super Mario's success that a few short years and sequels later, it had inspired multiple shows, live action and animated, of hilariously inconsistent quality. It's worth remembering that during the 80s and 90s, cartoons made for the sole purpose of pushing action figures were becoming a fixture of children's entertainment, which, in case you ever wondered, is why they all have that look. But the Super Mario marketing department wasn't merely content traumatizing thousands of Gen X kids with two overweight Italians in front of a green screen. So they quickly got to work with more experimental types of spin-offs. And one of the earliest staples of hardcore PC gaming was born. Released for the MS-DOS in January 1993, Mario is Missing was a truly subversive point-and-click adventure game, in which you play as Luigi, who must rescue Mario from Bowser's clutches and foil Bowser's plan to buy enough hair dryers to melt all the ice of Antarctica. But the plot of the game is irrelevant, because its true legacy came in the form of one drawing. This unintentionally blood-curdling image of Luigi kinda just standing there and making a terrifying face. And this was the beginning of the end for Luigi fan art, for reasons you'll understand very shortly. The next summer, following the smash hit of Mario is Missing, a game would come out for the now infamous CDI console extension. A game so absolutely ass, with cutscenes so poorly acted and animated that the development team was firing staff halfway through production for making assets that were simply too ugly. The resulting monstrosity, Hotel Mario, became a cult classic for how visually offensive it was that it would come back into the fold 14 years later in the form of YouTube poops. And if you don't know what a YouTube poop is, you were way too young to be watching this. Get off my channel. But before we get there, you may be asking yourself, Frankie, this is all very educational, but at what point does Luigi get pregnant? Say no more. In addition to the growing collection of janky Luigi images generated by these games was a spin-off TV series called Super Mario World, produced by a now shuttered studio called The Incredible World of Dick. This show, much like Hotel Mario and Mario is Missing, was pretty charmingly bad, and it was quite the blink or you'll miss it phenomenon because it only ran for 3 months in 1991. But its greatest contribution, cementing it in shitpost history, was its final episode, Mama Luigi. The plot is pretty cut and dry. Luigi recounts how he found Yoshi as a baby and decided to take care of him, referring to himself like this.
I'll teach you to mess with my new little buddy Yoshi. Cool it, caterpillar friend. I'm not your mama? Mama Luigi?
YouTube poop, the intellectual backbone of visual media. The stuff that so profoundly cooked my brain as a kid that I grew up to make videos about this. But what are they, and why do they matter? By definition, a YouTube poop is not just a video that sucks. It's a type of mashup made of pre-existing media that gained enormous traction in 2006. The availability of home computers, the monster popularity of Windows XP, and the prevalence of an editing software you may have heard of called Windows Movie Maker meant that just about anyone could slam together clips from games and shows, raise the volume to something known as ear rape, slap 300 rainbow filters onto it, and call it a day. These incoherent, seemingly random edits were a perfect fit for the 2000s era of explosive, random humor and took off almost immediately. And some of the most popular sources of media for this genre were Hotel Mario, Mario is Missing, and of course, Super Mario World.
And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
Between 2006 and somewhere around 2012, you couldn't throw a stone in any direction without hitting spaghetti, Luigi, the sky and a baby,
Pokemon from my cereal box!
And notably, Mama Luigi.
That's Mama Luigi to you, Mario!
But the metaphorical water most likely broke in 2008 when YouTuber Tippin' Man uploaded the legendary poop. Mama Luigi gets pregnant and dies. And the timing is no coincidence. Smack in the middle of the YouTube poop golden age, in 2009, this Luigi pregnancy fan art was gifted to the world. Created by DeviantArt Mpreg furry fetish artist Big Wolf, which is a sentence I defy you to tell me has existed before this. This palette-swapped Luigi was a cultural synthesis. Numerous fetish artists, likely inspired by some of the darker themes of these Mario poops, threw their hats into the ring with their own renditions of Luigi bearing a child, gaining dangerous amounts of weight, and so forth. And for what it's worth, YouTube poops touched on a variety of grave subject matter, including assault, pregnancy, unwanted fatherhood, death, and so on. But we're not even close to done with this yet, because there are two majorly confounding factors that we haven't even talked about yet: the recession and gay rights. Let's start with the gay stuff. To briefly return to where this all started, in the 90s, there was a massive development in the fan art space. In 1998, when I was 0 and therefore could not intervene, two bloggers going by the pseudonyms Talia Johnson and Texas Ranger coined the term Mpreg, or at least its earliest known use online. While male pregnancy is by no means a recent literary invention, the rise of fanfic sites like fanfiction.net and AO3, among others, allowed untold numbers of devoted fans to publish literally anything they could think of. And while this is a separate, larger phenomenon of its own, the slow but unstoppable tide of anime and manga in the English-speaking world coincided perfectly with fangirl antics. And before long, by the mid-2000s, otaku culture was in full swing. Anime and video game fans of all kinds wrote fanfics about their favorite male characters making out, getting pregnant, being forced to shower together at Sonic Fighting Academy. You get the point. Pregnant dudes, in fact, are such a staple of fangirl culture that there's an entire genre of alternate universe fiction called the Omegaverse. The crux of it is like there's guys and gals who desperately need to get pregnant, and then there's like these other guys and they get those guys pregnant. Anyway, I know it sounds crazy, but they literally did this in Fairly Odd Parents. They had an hour-long special where Cosmo gets pregnant and gives birth to a baby.
The baby just kicked! I think that means it's coming!
It's worth noting that these gay pairings of characters that were usually not actually gay were largely done for the novelty and the taboo factor, not necessarily because everyone back in 2004 was especially impassioned about gay marriage. And because many of these fics were expressly written to be smut, there was also a great deal of incest. In fact, I remember when Orange High School Host Club was poppin' when I was like 11. I remember seeing those prehistoric memes, the twincest movies with the two twins. Does anybody remember what that is? Shipping siblings together because it was les smexy was relatively popular. And though Super Mario as a franchise never had the type of fangirl following that, say, Legend of Zelda did, there were nevertheless trailblazing DeviantArt users that would stop at nothing to make sure Mario got Luigi pregnant. Mario Bros. Yowie Fan 12 was actually such a major influence on Super Mario incest that her artwork from 2011, mind you, still comes up in relevant Google searches today. But after 2011, there was a noticeable decline in the volume of pregnant Luigi art, which I believe coincides with the death of YouTube poop culture. As YouTube developed its corporate identity and sought to make itself more palatable to advertisers, its early, rough-around-the-edges era faded into irrelevance. And the fact was, in the early 2010s, calling things gay did not really hit the same. The topic of gay rights and gay equality was about to explode into the mainstream political discourse. And gay fan art that was once considered a gag had taken on a degree of post-ironic sincerity. Which is to say, even though there was no political appetite for incest, drawing Mario and Luigi locking lips was now seen as more completely universally funny than it possibly was offensive. But not by everyone. This joke fan art of Mario and Luigi making out, which funny enough actually did come from the YouTube poop era, randomly resurfaced in 2019 in the form of a hoax tweet by an account pretending to be Nintendo of America. The account, which misspelled the word Nintendo, tweeted the gay Mario incest image with the caption, "Happy #Pride Month. Our staff is filled with people of all sexualities, so we love supporting that." And even though anyone with eyes could see that this was a joke, British conservative commentator Sebastian Gorka felt the degree of wokeness on display was so off the charts, he fired back, tweeting at the actual Nintendo of America. So Nintendo America is promoting incest now? Also, I want to be clear, Gorka is a human being who could fall for things all the time. Just recently, I saw a tweet about a totally bogus lost media game from like South Sudan called The Adventures of Sexstick, and I uncritically just believed it was true. I just thought this was a particularly funny interpretation of that tweet. And now that we covered shitty educational games, janky cartoons, YouTube poops, and super incest brothers, I have saved the craziest part for last. I have a theory about the 2008 recession and Luigi inflation and thickness that is so genuinely insane that I only teased it in the intro because I did not actually want to lead with it. But I think there's potentially a little something there, so please hear me out. As you may remember, the recession began in the tail end of 2007 and was over by the summer of 2009. Recession pop, as it's retroactively been called, was characterized by optimism, loudness, and excess. And following in this theme of general excess, common wisdom tells us that in times of financial or resource hardship, men tend to prefer a more voluptuous female figure because it suggests biological fitness. But in order not to go off speculation alone,
that's nice. Round the number. Let's go. I can go to sleep, I guess, before work. Huh. This weird ass distortion must be caused by the fucking generated stuff. No, there's like, it's not so blurry. Still shiny, but it's like a lot more detailed. Oh, this also looks like shit. Oh. Let's try with this for a while, I guess. This is the thing that enables these fucking dots though, right? Oh my god. I wish I could just fucking skip using it. Maybe I could just sacrifice some other stuff. Ah. Did the weather change? Holy shit. I don't know what happened. I don't know, this seems like zero fucking change. We'll see. Like this. If it will still drop it, then we'll go back to generator stuff on the next stream.